We shall require skilled labor. The labor corps will come into operation immediately. We shall require skilled labor. The labor corps will come into operation immediately. We shall require skilled labor. The labor corps will come into operation immediately. When we have the people, where are we to construct the machines? At central points in London. You, Major Green, will select suitable places. I shall supervise the initial stages. Suspicion must not be aroused. I shall attend to this. All right. Excuse me. All right. I had off from work this week, so with nothing else to do, and I've got plenty of backlog. We're going to work on the Speed Champions 2-pack. Here we got the, what is this? I can't pronounce these words. Lamborghini Revuelto and the Lamborghini Huracán STO. 607 pieces, 10 plus set, and it's set number 77238. It's fairly new. The copyright date on this is 2025. I bought this from, pretty sure I got this from Target. So go ahead and get into this. Nothing else left in the box. Two chassis pieces. There's going to be 2 books. Okay, so here's the second book. It doesn't have tells you what numbers. 2 sticker sheets. We love stickers. Here's the first book. We're going to be doing the orange car first. Okay. And extra bag with the wheel inserts, hub inserts, and we have a total of 8 bags. This minifigure has 2 faces, an alternate face. Let's go with the big smile on her face, and here's her hair. And here we have every set comes with the with the huge wrench. If anybody knows what this piece is called, let me know. I just think it's an interesting piece. I've seen it before, but I don't know what it would be called. I'm just curious. Just so I don't lose these, you know they're going to go in here anyway. Alexa, play 12:10 a.m.
Here's 12:10 WPHT from Odyssey.
Survivors ready? BetMGM Casino has added Survivor, Outwit, Outplay, Outlast.
Alexa, reduce volume. Alexa, reduce volume.
Download the app today. BetMGM.
Alexa, reduce volume by 3.
21 plus only. New Jersey only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Will once pay back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Become mildly aware. That's all. I mean, you are in the news business. Just maybe knowing the news might help a little bit. Tiny. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm sure this isn't the first time you've been told that. But anyway, the guy who won, Kyle Kirkwood, never heard of him, I know nothing. He won the Freedom 250 Grand Prix of Washington, D.C. It was the first ever motor race around the National Mall and the monuments and the buildings in the capital city. So it was pretty cool. And the tickets were handed out. It was a raffle. Tickets were free. And so the people who entered, the people who were there won a raffle, which is the luck of the draw. They are clearly big Brickz fans. So I would assume a lot of them were from the South. Because that's where this started. That's where the whole thing started. You know that, right? That's where the whole NASCAR, all this stuff started, was in the South when they were running moonshine and they were trying to get away from the revenuers. And that's how the whole thing started. So, you know. All right, let's go to this. This is cut one. This is Kirkwood. He was talking about, what it was like to win this and what it was like to participate in this race.
IndyCar, everyone involved. So they built this thing beautifully, and we would love to come back, if I'm being honest, because I think this was the best street course race I've ever been a part of. The event as a whole, 100,000 people here, a raffle, free tickets for everybody. The event was incredible. So I hope we can come back here. I hope this is the new normal for IndyCar. But this was a major event for us, and to be able to win as an American, like I said, it's a dream come true.
That's totally cool. This guy, he's from Florida, and he was obviously sponsored, as you saw there, by Sam's Club. On his car and on his uniform, which I saw someone once say we should brand our congressmen and women the way we brand NASCAR drivers and put their sponsors, make them wear sponsors on their jackets. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, you have to wear a patch from your sponsor so we all know who you took money from.
Like Raytheon across the back or something.
Right? Like, wouldn't that be awesome? Be fantastic. Then they can't lie. The second, let's see, blurry picture was 2017. Okay, it was a 3.0906. Get it? That's victory over number 7, which was driven by Christian Lundgaard. Maybe careful the part was the same. Maybe some people it was an Arrow, McLaren, Chevy. Okay. And Lundgaard said he's foreign and he's from, I want to say, Australia. And he said, it's fitting that an American won, right? We gave it our best shot. So he said he didn't mind coming in second because an American won, and it's for the 250. And I thought that was very sporting of him. Good sport. We need more. The WNBA can learn from his good sportsmanship because they don't know what that is. But then they know what a man is, so how can they know what good sportsmanship is? This is his second victory of the season. 147 laps. I thought it was 140 laps. I was off by 6. 147 laps. And can I just say, like, who sits and watches 147 laps of this, right? Like, I don't know. I'm that person just turning to like the last one.
Yeah. Gonna need a few beverages leading up to that. Yeah, maybe the final 20 or so. So yeah, it's good to see.
Right? Like, we used to go watch when I was growing up, I grew up in Somerset County, and they had the Pops Cooler bike race. And this was this big thing every Memorial Day. And you go down to Somerville, go to Big City, and you go to Somerville, and you watch. And we always sat in this one curve to watch because that's where all the accidents happened. That's the only reason we went, was for the accidents. well, otherwise it's kind of boring. You just go past you, and you get away from them and come around, and they go past you, and that's it. Let's go to cut to, this is Kirkwood talking about President Trump cheering him on.
I mean, it hasn't really settled in yet, right? Like, I won the race, I get out of the car, I see President Trump sitting there cheering me on as a proud American. That's a pretty big deal to have the president cheering you on. Nothing else like it, right? But that was not an easy race. 147 laps is about double the distance that we typically do on street courses like this, and it's about 90 degrees outside. The humidity is pretty high. You can expect about 30 degrees hotter in one of the cockpits of one of these Indy cars.
Yeah, and lastly, this was also to kick off Melania Trump's project about fostering the future. And so beforehand, they had one of the cars out there, and it said "Fostering the Future," and she was in a red suit, and she posed, because she was a model, so she knows how to pose, sitting on top of one of the tires. Like, if I were doing that, I probably would have gone, after the kick off the tire, boom. But she's sitting in down legs, and she's posing. And Fostering the Future is to provide scholarships for kids coming out of the foster system because they age out at 18. And so this is to provide college scholarships for these kids, or some kind of educational training for them, whether maybe even the trades, so that they can have a future when they age out of foster care. And I think it's a fantastic program. And it was sponsored by Penske, like the guy who owns Penske, Penske was there, and I believe NASCAR and some others. But that was kind of the launch to really show and give her a platform to focus on fostering the future. So here's a little bit about that.
The other day at the White House, you hosted many of the drivers, many of us, for your initiative, Fostering the Future, where you help those that are aging out of the foster care system. Why is this so important to you?
Well, Fostering the Future provides the scholarship at university level for within foster care community, and it's very important because we need to support them. They need to have the same opportunity as other children, and I'm very proud to say that we had the first doctor graduating it, and we have now 26 universities all around the country who they have foster students. And incredible what we are doing with that initiative. A few months ago, we signed the Fostering the Future accounts, and I encourage every governor in every state to sign in and support foster children, so once they're aging out of foster care, they could have financial support and be independent.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's Fox Sports and Penske that are sponsoring this and putting a lot of muscle behind this. And by the way, it's local, Villanova University, top partner that is helping these children who are aging out of foster care and giving them. They're creating a private-public partnership to provide the sponsorships and the scholarships for these kids. So it's good to see a local school doing something nice, and my alma mater. So I had to put that in there. But I love it. I think it's a great initiative. And the First Lady gets zero slack from the media, and she should get some credit and some spotlight on her initiative, because I think it's a really great initiative. I think it's super important. So these poor kids, 18, you're out. Sorry, out. I gotta go on their own. So giving them a place to maybe land softly, I think is really, really important. And kudos to her, and kudos to those who are sponsoring this and participating in, people with the big pockets who can do that. All right, coming up, James Fitzpatrick. Let's talk about Iran. That's coming up on the Dumb Tier.
Wow.
At Crash Proof Retirement,
I'm missing.
that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial
I'm missing two
security
pieces.
to our clients, like Donna McDonald.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with
Wow.
my mother. I had to live with
Son of a
all
gun.
the assets, to sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arise, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care, should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiary.
What the heck? I am missing two pieces.
2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashwithretirement.com. And
Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Hey, what are you doing? I like your method. Direct, to the point. A little loud, but
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, shoot. God. Oh, jeez. Holy cow.
Hot dog area.
and
All right, my bad.
only pay
My bad.
Hi, this is Don here. Donna, you've spent years taking care of everyone else. Now it's your turn. Whether you've been thinking about replacing missing teeth, improving your smile, or restoring the ability to eat and smile comfortably, Dr. Robert Bentz and Dr. Emily Bentz, board-certified prosthodontists, specialize in complex restorative and cosmetic dentistry. You can smile.
All right, now the first sticker.
Laugh freely and feel yourself again. Schedule a consultation with Bentz Dental Group, 610-272-6949.
Empty nesters, seniors, are you thinking about selling your home in the next 12 to 18 months? Then I have one question. What are you doing right now? Nothing? That's exactly why I, Diane Cardano from Cardano Realtors, have created the Future Home Seller Movement. Smart home sellers don't start preparing when they're ready to sell. They start a year ahead. Start decluttering, do some painting, make low-cost repairs that generate a high return. And right now, while your lawn is green and the trees are beautiful, get professional exterior photos. Because do you really want snow and naked trees advertising one of your largest assets? Of course not. Your home sale needs a plan, and your plan should start now. Get my free home seller guide and find out what you should be doing 12 to 18 months before selling. Diane says, don't wait until you're ready to sell to get ready to sell. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
Here are 4 things your doctor probably doesn't know about losing weight.
Okay.
Elmacin actively burns fat and boosts your metabolism. 2, Elmacin naturally boosts your body's own GLP-1 levels. 3, Elmacin targets and unclogs liver fat. 4, Elmacin powerfully improves your overall long-term health. Elmacin is the only natural superfood protein that delivers complete nutrition, protein, energy, and longevity in a single meal. Struggling with weight, Elmacin works. Go to Elmacin.com right now. That's Elmacin.com.
you know, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Oh, shoot. Okay, this is one wrong, too. All right. That's all wrong.
And welcome back to the Dom Giordano Show. Mary Walter sitting in for Dom, and I'm back with you on Thursday as well. 855-839-1210 is my number, or you can reach out to me on X. Just tag me in a tweet at Mary Walter Radio No S. Let's talk about Iran with James Fitzpatrick. He is the director of the Center to Advance Security in America, former Army vet, former Trump 45 admin official, and he is here with us now. James, welcome to the show. Great to talk to you.
Hey, thanks, Mary. Great to be here with you.
So I've seen that there's actually good news coming.
All right, 7.
We have traffic in the Strait of Hormuz going up nearly 400%. Iran's grip is weakening on the Strait of Hormuz. Why is that? Why has it skyrocketed 400%?
Well, look, I think just taking a step back and looking at this whole situation, you have to acknowledge here that President Trump's strategy is working. The Iranians are under mounting economic pressure every day. They're becoming increasingly isolated throughout the world. And actually, they're even starting to signal that their only way out of this is through a potential framework that we've proposed. And this is all the while the president is retaining all of his, future military options and future economic sanctions.
And of course, he'll never get credit for that. And this is why we hadn't heard this. As I was looking, yesterday, I gather stuff all the time for shows, and I knew I was doing the show, so I started gathering stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, traffic is up 400%. How have I even heard this? Of course, if this were Biden, it would be everywhere because they don't want, they're afraid, I think the left is afraid that this is going to influence the midterms. And so they don't want this known. But let me ask you, does this help lower the price of gas at the pump? Because that's ultimately what Americans care about.
I think it will. We just have to hold on a little bit longer here. I think what the president's doing is putting tremendous pressure on them without escalating the fighting, which is a good thing. The Treasury is saying that this is going to be unprecedented in terms of the way that they're going to be able to cut Iran out of the global economy. And there are signs that Iran is starting to crack real economic signs of real distress in their country. Their currencies have hitting an all-time low. Inflation is skyrocketing there, and unemployment is skyrocketing. So there's really only so many options that they have. They're going to be forced to come to the table because their economy is just being destroyed. So I think if we hold on for a little bit longer, if we trust the plan here, if we trust that the Treasury is really going to implement these sanctions, which they are, I think we're going to start to see gas come down in time, and hopefully in time for the elections.
Talking about what's happening with them economically, you've got the Iranian president Pezeshkian saying that the economic pressure is mounting on Tehran and it's Tehran, and it's taking its toll. And he cautioned against humiliating backing down before the enemy. He said in a speech on Friday, this is translation.
Three small pieces left over.
Come to an end at some point. It is clear that we demonstrate the strength of the community today and tell them that we have won and that we are ending the war.
This is after bag one.
This also are signs that they're going to back down. But here's the thing: if they back down and they say, okay,
Bag two. And 2 stickers from bag one.
A win would be, no future military action by us, and them agreeing to the deal and the framework that we put in place, whatever that may be at the time. And I think the president's reserving, all of the details of that so that they, so that nothing gets ahead of themselves over there. But I think, they're a vicious regime. I think they're going to continue to abuse their people with their power. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be incumbent upon people there, as they have for years, to rise up against them and to see what happens with that. But I mean, it's unclear exactly what it will look like. I just think the president is concerned with not losing any more American lives, making sure that this military conflict comes to an end with them after the economic war.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's the people who suffer. They don't care about their people suffering, so it doesn't matter to them because the leaders always live very well, and I'm sure they have spirited tons of money away that they haven't spent. They're not spending their money on people for food or anything along those lines. They're just spending it on their that's how they're doing it. So that it is going to be incumbent upon people to rise up, but it's hard when those people don't have to rise up. But all that being said, we're terrible at regime change in the United States. We're awful at it. We are terrible. We always back the wrong force. Most people in the Middle East don't want to live the way we live. They're very comfortable living with a dictator. Now, I'm not saying brutal dictator like they have in Iran, but is the memory of what Iran used to be close enough still in the Iranian memories in order for them to say that is what we want? We do want to go back to that. We do want to go back to a democratic system.
I think it may be, and there may be a way where we can, maybe split it here, where, they have a president who is so fearful of strong American and Western leadership and sees the result of what happens when they step out of line, that maybe that forces them to at least treat their people with some level of respect moving forward, knowing that, if there's, they just don't want to piss off and rock the boat on any sort of framework that they put in place. So I think maybe hopefully we scare them enough into coming to the table, which seems like they're going to with all of our military and now economic action. But that's my hope. I think at least it's just a difficult question because you just never know. Like some of these people are pretty extreme.
Yeah, and apparently the president said that I was in the presence of the supreme leader, and in his speech with Ezra, he openly stated that we must move beyond this state of neither war nor peace. And then he went on to say, we are not going to humiliatingly back down before the enemy or bow our heads. We can sit down with strength, but also with logic and resolve our problems. This is possible, and we're working to make that happen. Do we even know if the supreme leader is still alive?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know that he's dead. I think that's just posturing by hand and lying, and that can be expected. I think they're already being embarrassed, right? Of course, you can get economic sanctions from us, but also they're being so isolated. Even their own allies, their own neighbors are refusing to trade with them. The UAE has stopped all trade with them because I think the president has been clear to our allies, like the UAE, that it's either you stop doing business with them or you're going to lose access to the U.S. financial system across the world, and everyone knows that the choice that is going to be made by our allies there. So I think again, it's a credit to the administration for the way that they've applied pressure to their neighbors to sort of, as you said, embarrass them and
And you have a guy, Mohammed Bagar Qualabaf, who was a commander in the IRGC, and he is one of the country's most senior political leaders. But during a meeting with Iranian and Iraqi economists in Baghdad, and this is according to a Middle East news outlet Al Bawaba, he, according to the report, said, no matter how strong our military becomes, if we are hungry, we will not be able to endure. So I wonder if the picture on the ground is far worse than what we even know. And he's smart enough to realize that if the people are starving, they'll do whatever they have to do because they're going to die either starvation or at the hands of a firing squad. So they're going to do whatever they have to do, and maybe recognizing that this is a power play.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I didn't realize that quote was out there, and I think that's a wise quote from the leader there. Yeah, I mean, I think they're decimated in every way, and they're it's slow, but they're starting to realize that their only option is to continue. We wiped out essentially their entire military, all of their political leadership. The president a few weeks ago had other options on the table, such as dual purpose options, where he would have taken out bridges and all sorts of infrastructure that they use, that is clearly used by the military and the civilians. So I think now the economic things, it sounds like someone over there is starting to come to some sort of consensus between that quote you mentioned from the military advisor and their president. So hopefully they get it, and this thing comes to an end soon.
Yeah. Now, there's apparently a problem also, a deeper threat that could outlast the war. And Art Berman, petroleum geologist and energy consultant, told Fox News Digital that millions of barrels of Persian Gulf oil production remain shut in, and warned that through is more complicated than just opening the Strait of Hormuz. He's been moving tankers around, and there are 4 million barrels getting through, or there are 6 or 9 million, or whatever the right number is, but eventually those tankers have to be filled with oil. And apparently, once you shut down an oil well, and there's little to no activity on Carr Island, once you shut it down and it sits there, it's hard to re-drill that well. It's hard. You sometimes will have 50% of was coming out of that well before now, and it's a very dangerous process to restart these wells. I had no idea. I'm learning far more about this than any person should ever have to know. But how does that affect you? So this may be over, but we may not see the price at the pump go down if we can't get the oil out of the wells now.
That's a fair question. Similar to you, I'm not an energy expert by any means, but I trust that we have folks in place that are going to be able to figure this out. The president and his team have a truly phenomenal team in place in our administration in every way, both the Treasury, the White House, and the State Department, the Energy Department. So I think, we have people in charge that know what they're doing, that understand the ways to get this oil out of the ground, and I'm sure they'll make it happen. We also have, the ability to get oil from other places across the world.
Oh, this is going to suck. You know why? Because it's got to be held on by one stud. I hate that.
Yeah. Two more questions. Can this be done? Do you think this will be over? I think Iran is trying to make Trump out to for him in the midterms. He knows that Americans have the attention span of golden retriever puppies and no patience whatsoever. So, is this done? Can this economic crisis inflict enough pain for there to be some kind of settlement or some kind of win by the midterms?
I think so. I mean, I think that they really, as I said before, they don't really have another option with this sort of combination of inflation, record low currency, record unemployment.
But it gets the angle.
And all of the public comments that the president and the military have made over there. It seems like they are setting the table. They are setting the stage to come to the table with us. In a true way, not in sort of a fake way that they've done.
All right, and here comes the next set of stickers.
Yes, and then it's just a matter of
26.
done, and then pressuring them to follow it, and making sure that traffic flow is straight and all of that. So yes, I think we can get it done, and I'm hopeful we can.
Last question. Is there any way we can bring back the cardboard Ayatollah? Do you remember that thing? Remember when they brought out the cardboard Ayatollah?
Yeah, no, look, I think these guys saw what happens when you cross this president, when you cross red lines that are made, and you don't do it, and they did it, and
24.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cardboard Ayatollah is the best they're going to find.
That was classic, and I do not think the cardboard Ayatollah got the attention he deserved. It was a huge marketing opportunity, and nobody picked it up. Because it really didn't make a ton of news because it happened during Trump's administration, so it wasn't a big deal. But Baghdad, he's like this war's version of Baghdad Bob, and I really, that to me, that was the peak of this entire conflict was the cardboard Ayatollah. James Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for joining me.
There you go.
You have any social
Yeah, sure. On X, we're at Secure USA, and also advancing-america.org.
Okay.
Advancing-america.org. All right, and Secure USA on X. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week.
Of course, Mary. Thanks for having me.
More coming up on the Dom Giordano Show.
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McMacken.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets.
Oh, come on.
I don't want that for me. Should the need arise, the long-term care policy that I have with Brickz covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
And Doug. Limo and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts we were yellow. Yellow is the color of lemons. Lemons grow on trees. Trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe. And breathing
I hate one studs.
We save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limo. It's really quite simple. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent. Liberty.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread building yourself furniture, it came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Empty nesters, seniors, does this sound familiar? You live in your house 20, 30, maybe 50 years. The kids are gone. And the house is too big. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, we should really move. And then you look around, the basement, the garage, the closets, 30 years of stuff, and your kids' stuff who moved out years ago is also there. And suddenly you think, where would I even start? Start with me, Diane Cordano Realtors. Nobody cares what your house looks like right now. I've seen it all. You're a future home seller, and you don't need to tackle everything tomorrow. You need a timeline that tells you what to do and when to do it. Your home is one of your largest financial assets. Stop sitting around worrying about the move and start planning it. Get my free Future Home Seller Guide. Let's get things rolling. Diane says you don't have to be ready to move. Just have to be ready to start. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
If you're skipping meals and cutting carbs but still not losing pounds, you aren't lazy. Your metabolism is just asleep. Wake it up with Almacet, backed by over 30 years of clinical research. Low-glycemic, high-protein shake from belly fat, crushes intense craving, gives you sustained, clean energy all day long without the chloro. Stop fighting your body. Reset your metabolism. Lose the weight for good. Go to Almacet.com right now to get your daily protein and shaker bottle. That's ALMASEB.com.
Weather sponsored by the Piazza Auto Group. A pleasant air mass with low humidity remains in the forecast for the next few days. Both mix of sunshine and clouds through the afternoon with a high 83. For tonight, very comfortable with a few clouds, low 64 for the city, 50s in the suburbs. And for Tuesday, once again, mixture of sunshine and clouds and pleasant, the high again 83.
Your luxury is within reach during the Mercedes-Benz Welcome Home Celebration. Explore special offers today on the Mercedes-Benz GLC and GLE SUVs and the S-Class sedan from Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, and Atlantic City.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Show coming up. Hillary Fordage will be joining us here in less than 10 minutes. She's the founder and CEO of Strommark Business Development Consultants, and she's on Newsmax. You see her all over the place. She's a great commentator, and we're going to talk to her about the Royals. They said Real Housewives is on hiatus in New Jersey. I don't know what's going on there, but they were actually so. Dolores, who was at someone we know's employees, like his employees' wedding in Brickz, and they all went to the wedding. Everybody in their business building, everybody got invited, and a whole group of them went over to the wedding. Dolores was there. So I bet you that's going to be on the Real Housewives because they said they were filming. So there's and I like Dolores. I think she's one of the more saner ones in the whole thing. Get rid of the newbies. I'm kind of glad they got rid of her. They got rid of that one from Staten Island, the blonde with a really heavy accent. So I was like, you're not from New Jersey. You're from Staten Island. Just because you moved to New Jersey doesn't make you from New Jersey. You're from Staten Island. So they got rid of her. And the other one, yeah. And I think they got rid of Jen Aiden too. I think she's gone too. She has a little, I don't know. I didn't love her. I didn't hate her. I didn't really like her. I like Margaret. She's gone though. I love the Marg. I know her mom, the Marge, and Margaret. I like those two. Anyway, all right. So the Democrats are just chomping at the bit to win the midterms because they think they're going to win, and they might. They very well might. That's why they're kind of. And we'll talk about this with Ken Strang coming up in the 1 o'clock hour about what's going to happen around the PSA. Which I just call them communists, but silly me. They're not there yet. They're working on it. They'll be communists any day now, but right now they're still pretending to be democratic socialists, which there's really no such thing. You're just a socialist. But okay, we'll play along. But they are chomping at the bit. So Representatives Robert Garcia and of course Jamie Raskin, they would lead the Oversight and the Judiciary Committees respectively if they take back the House. And they are already preparing. This is one thing that the Democrats do well. They're preparing all the moves they're going to make. This is kind of like what Trump did in the 4 years during the Biden administration, which is why he hit the ground running. And Republicans refused to learn from him. They should have prepared everything they were going to do, and Republicans should be preparing what they're going to do should they win the midterms as well. But they're not going to. They're away, they're on vacation, they're on their month off for August, and then they're back like for 3 days and they're off again. And they're not doing any of this stuff, which they should be, but here's what Raskin had to say. We are going to be looking at systems of bribery, kickback, financial corruption, and opportunities for disgorgement and restitution to the American people. That should be number one. That's what they're going to do.
Oh, this gets a sticker before I put it on. 34.
His family and the administration. So in other words, they are going to hold hearing after hearing after hearing after hearing non-stop, keeping the administration tied up and not being able to do anything.
Oh,
it will come
that's
to
the wrong sticker.
So you have to realize, if you don't get out and vote, as Republicans often don't do, if you don't think you're going to be around, request an absentee ballot. All right? But you have to get out and vote. If you don't, after November, that could be the end of Trump's presidency, because they're gonna prevent him from having the last 2 years of his presidency. They're gonna roll back as much of what he's done as they possibly can, and they are going to just lawfare the hell out of Trump, his family, and anyone who had anything to do with him, because this is what fascists do. They jail their opponents. Fascists. Fascists gonna fascist. That's what they do. Topping their long list of controversies that they want to target. They've already listed them. They know exactly what the order in which they're going to do this. Trump's acceptance of Qatari jet for use as his new Air Force One, and his family's massively profitable cryptocurrency.
Oh, I hate it when you have to put little stickers on something this size.
His massive that he had and put up his nose, but so we're just not going to look at that. Or Nancy Pelosi and how much she made her money. But we're going to go to Trump because Republicans are feckless. Republicans are useless when it comes to this stuff. They don't do anything. They're like, oh, well, and off they go. I don't know what they do, but it's none of this. It's all the stuff we want them to do. Raskin also said that he intends to probe what he deems fraudulent and vindictive prosecutions. Oh, the irony in that. Vindictive prosecutions, including James Comey and Letitia James, who said, if elected, I'm going to get Trump. But see, they ignore their standards that they impose on Republicans. And Republicans hold themselves to a higher standard than they hold Democrats. It's the reverse. And this is why Democrats are so successful at this stuff. Garcia said he is determined to fill in gaps he sees in the GOP-led investigation into Jeffrey Epstein until he finds out what's really in the Epstein files. And it implicates a lot of Democrats in which they do not do anything about it. Their preparations said this is how this mirrors what Democrats did ahead of the 2018 midterms. The Democrats that year, though, were kind of leery of impeachment. But now that they got 2 under their belts of Trump, the first thing they're going to do, they are going to impeach him again. House Democrats are reluctant to take anything off the table while recognizing the limitations of impeachment as a check on Trump's power. But Raskin said nobody on the Democratic side is afraid of impeachment. It is a tool in our toolbox. Never a tool in the Republicans' toolbox, but Democrats will do it again. All right, coming up, Hillary Fordich will be joining us right here on the other side of the break. Let's talk Harry and Meghan and some country. Oh, so excited. That's next on the Don Giordano.
Hi, this is Don Giordano. You've spent years taking care of everyone else. Now it's your turn. Whether you've been thinking about replacing missing teeth, improving your smile, or restoring the ability to eat and smile comfortably, Dr. Robert Bentz and Dr. Emily Bentz, board-certified prosthodontists, specialize in complex, restorative, and cosmetic dentistry. You can smile confidently in photos, enjoy meals, laugh freely, and feel yourself again. Schedule a consultation with Bentz Dental Group, 610-272-6949.
BetMGM, official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the heat all season long. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing can score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients. Like Donna Mackin.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arise, the long-term care policy that I have covers $9,000 a month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Grab an epic meal for easy money. 10-piece McNuggets or Filet-O-Fish served with medium fries and a medium Coke. All for just $8. Pricing participation may vary. Promotion pricing may be lower than air pricing. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Free speech for William Skier. With Keel and Company Weekly Mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station. 1210 WPHT.
And welcome back to the Don Giordano Show. Mary Walter with you. Coming up next hour, we're going to talk about the growing population of Americans and communism and how did we raise a economically, financially ignorant generation. And how did that happen? But first, let's have some fun here with Hillary Portage. She is an amazing businesswoman, also a dear friend. She's the founder and CEO of Strellmark Business Development Consultants. She's also a Newsmax contributor of Great Britain News. You can see her GB News and Sky News commentator. You can find her everywhere on X. It's H, for which Hillary with only one L. You can find her on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn as well. Hillary, thank you for joining me.
Oh, absolute pleasure to be with you. And actually, I was venture to say that the two stories are actually linked because I think Prince Harry is feeling generally is a very sort of like, what would you put it? He's beyond privilege and he doesn't really appreciate it. And I think that he sort of expects things to be given to him. And that's what socialism and communism are about too.
There you go. Well, he also married a very liberal actress, Hollywood, who wants to be part of the Hollywood elite, married her, and so surprised now at where he is. I don't think any of us were surprised when this happened once they decided to leave. Once they decided to leave England, I knew this exactly.
Go ahead, Mason.
Right? We all kind of knew this. So let's talk about them deciding to return to Great Britain.
There's a couple pieces on here that are really a pain. What's interesting is they give you a choice right here on this page between black or orange. So this piece right here could be either black or orange. This is the
everyone you come in contact with is
the Huracán STO and the Lamborghini Revuelto.
I don't think he realized what the outside was yet. So when the publisher or somebody is egging him on,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Orange is killing me.
he doesn't realize they're doing that for their own money. They're not doing that for his good. And so I think one of the things, he made many mistakes in that book, a great many mistakes, and one of them, of course, was like about all of his drug use. And when he applied for his visa to the United States, everybody had to fill out and complete it. But the question is, and this is what the Heritage Foundation actually requested to have the public be able to see what he completed on his, it should be public information on his visa application, because Mary, if you have done drugs, you are not allowed into the United States of America. So he either told the truth and fair and then lied on his visa application, or he lied in fair and then he was on his visa application. Which is it?
I do have some pieces left over, including the alternate triangles. Let's get these out of the way. We're going to move on to bag 3. So this is where we got between bags 1 and 2, including stickers. And moving on to bag 3. I tried to use them for stickers, but these tweezers are from Lumibricks sets to help guide the wires. So they're not working really well for the stickers, but if it's a small piece, I can use this to hold the piece in place, like this. And then I can use, I like using this tool here for the stickers with the wheel tail, because it's a lot thinner at the end than the one that comes from Lego. Yeah, I tried using it for the stickers, but it doesn't. This one's not really good for stickers. It's good to hold pieces in place. Unlike other brands, which actually separate and package separately the windows and stuff, fortunately, nothing was scratched on this. Like I said, other brands will. Here's a print piece. We'll package them separately. Here's a print. These are prints. These are prints.
The South Park episode that they did on that. Right, the signs that say, "We want our privacy. We want our privacy."
Yeah, exactly right, exactly. And I think that when you said that he doesn't like what they don't like it, they don't like press that isn't on their tongue. And I've always said, any PR firm ever tells you they can control the media, they're lying, because neither Buckingham Palace nor the White House can control the media. And that's why I don't think they anticipated. He actually loves his press when it's all supported. I mean, he very smiled. He wants it. Look at it, it was there. Look at the amount of interviews he did. So absolutely, they want press, but they just want it to be positive and didn't realize, oh, oops, you can't control it. And also, one of the things that I think is amazing he's banged on about all these security issues in the more dangerous countries, and
I have to say that
There were 2 bag 3s.
I don't know what it is about her. At first, it's like she was super I don't know why, but
I think the issue is, and I think you're right that it's a very subjective thing. I think there are people who like her. So what I would say is, I think it's authenticity. She isn't authentic, and that's what I think is related. Of course, authenticity. Most people, including you and me, we really appreciate and like and value authenticity. That's it. She hasn't been authentic. And when you look at her, any of her podcasts,
Any idea what they call this piece here? What that's referred to?
When she was pretending to do all these flowers and pretty things, I would lay a bet she didn't do that. And with regard to jazz,
I mean, I've seen it before, but I just wanted to know what the part name is.
So many of the things they did were inauthentic, and then when she wasn't able to really cut things the right way, and then she was running her hands through her hair, which you don't do when you're cooking. There were so many things, and it wasn't in her own kitchen. I think that put the audience off, and probably that's also something you're picking up on when you actually.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, I think they it also view Harry as a sympathetic character because of the fucking relationship. I mean, it was horrible. Like, what are they doing with these children? This is awful. And she just kind of cleaning and very with a lot of problems that he has not worked out, obviously. And so his I think she, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm giving her way too much say then, but I think she was the one who kind of pushed him to get away from all of that, get away from the royal family. We're going to go have life in America and everything's going to be great and screw those people and, you know, you're going to, and it, like you said, didn't work out that way. He also money-wise are not doing that well, right? Because he was ordered to pay $13 million after he lost that case against the Daily Mail last month. $13 million. Their home alone is $14.5 million, and that has a lot of costs associated with it. So they say it's $600,000 plus a year in mortgage payments and taxes alone.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know the number, but that sounds about right. So, yes, it's highly expensive life. Although what's a little strange about the move back to the UK, they say that they're maintaining their Montecito mansion as well as their property in Portugal. So now they're going to have a UK property plus the private education over there. And one of the red lines for the British public, I know this for a fact because the Daily Telegraph actually just conducted a poll, and they found that I think it's 74% of the British public doesn't want to pay for their security. But, you know, the cost of living crisis in the UK, people don't want to be paying for their security. Now, with regard to other royals, you know, they're day in, day out doing their royal duty. So I think that that's going to be a big issue. Security will be a major issue, but I think you're absolutely correct. I do think that this is financially driven with regard to that failed lawsuit, and that also Elton John and others have to come up with those sort of funds, although there is speculation that Elton John is obviously going to might help him out. He obviously has been a friend of the family. He was very close to Princess Diana. But I'd like to make mention of when you talked about him walking to his mother's coffin. I mean, yes, that was a very, very tough thing to do, but William is only a few years older than him, and he walks behind the college too, and he chooses to be dedicated to duty, dedicated to his family, dedicated to the preservation of the monarchy, and he went through the same thing. Right. The issue I have with Prince Harry is not only did he throw his family under the proverbial royal bus, he betrayed the trust of the one person in the world that went through everything the same as he did, his brother. But he's not a conqueror on top, and I don't know how that could ever be forgiven.
Yeah, Hillary, we got to run up against the clock. Like I said, whenever you first set this up, I'm like, I can do a half hour on this. Hillary Ford is founder and CEO of Stromberg Business Development Consultants. Find her on Newsmax, GB News, Sky News. She's everywhere, and you can find her on all socials as well. Hillary, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week.
Yes, smashing being with you. Cheerio.
All right, God bless that. Coming up, we talk about the generation of communism on the Dom Giordano Show.
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McMahon.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arise, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog! Customize and save!
What are you doing? I like your method. Direct, to the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread build-it-yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Empty nesters, seniors, are you thinking about selling your home in the next 12 to 18 months? Then I have one question. What are you doing right now? Nothing? That's exactly why I, Diane Cardano from Cardano Realtors, have created the Future Home Seller Movement. Smart home sellers don't start preparing when they're ready to sell. They start a year ahead. Start decluttering, do some painting, make low-cost repairs that generate a high return. And right now, while your lawn is green and the trees are beautiful, get professional exterior photos. Because do you really want snow and naked trees advertising one of your largest assets? Of course not. Your home sale needs a plan, and your plan should start now. Get my free home seller guide and find out what you should be doing 12 to 18 months before selling. Diane says, don't wait until you're ready to sell to get ready to sell. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
You're skipping meals at times, but still not losing pounds. You aren't lazy. Your metabolism is just asleep. Wake it up with Almacet. Backed by over 30 years of clinical research. This low glycemic, high protein shake selectively targets stubborn belly fat, crushes intense cravings, and gives you sustained, clean energy all day long without the pros. Stop fighting your body. Reset your metabolism. Lose weight for good. Go to Almacet.com right now to get your daily protein and shaker bottle. That's ALMASED.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Many people put off dental treatment for years because of fear, anxiety, or a bad experience. At Bench Dental Group, your comfort comes first. Dr. Robert Bench, Dr. Emily Bench, board-certified prosthodontists, understand every patient is different. Every treatment plan and every experience is customized to each individual's comfort level. You'll be saying, I wish I hadn't waited so long. Schedule a consultation with Bench Dental Group and discover how comfortable modern dentistry can be. 610-272-6949.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands in 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's downtime now. Dom Giordano.
And welcome back to the Dom Giordano Show. I'm Mary Walter in for Dom. You can find me on X at Mary Walter Radio. Tag me in a tweet if you would like to, or you can give us a call at 855-839-1210. Joining us now, Ken Strang. He is the Managing Director for Americans for Prosperity. You can find him on X at Kent Strang, S-T-R-A-N-G. Super easy. Kent, welcome to the show. Hi.
It's great to be with you, Mary. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining us. So let's talk about what happened to Gen Z. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when we were like, what happened to millennials, right? now millennials who can't stand like it seems nobody likes the boomers. I don't understand why, but they're the worst. But if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have things like cell phones. But what the heck? But Gen Z, we're all kind of looking at them and everybody's going, oh, what happened there? And I think we did not raise them properly, obviously. But this love of communism that is coming from the left, primarily from the under 30 crowd, what made them so ripe for this?
Mary, I keep coming back to what Ronald Reagan warned us about, and that is that freedom is not passed through in the bloodstream, and that we have to fight and protect it. And it seems like we have failed to do that. I think what's happened over the last 4 years, and look what happened during the Biden administration, 21.5% cumulative inflation. The average American family had to pay $11,400 more just to maintain their lifestyle. And I think these Gen Zers are seeing the crippling college debt. They're seeing how expensive housing is, how expensive interest rates it is to be able to start a new business or to get in their first home or to make groceries affordable. And they're drawn to these ideas where everything is free. Your housing is free. Your college is free. Anything you want, free, free, free. When the reality of the situation is that government makes everything more expensive and less quality. And it's the free market that provides the wonderful cell phones and your Starbucks and everything you love in life. And we need to be able to get back to those folks and show them how amazing the free market is, how it works, how it makes their life better, and how the human hockey stick has delivered more people out of poverty because of free markets. And I think they're drawn to that message. And unfortunately, they got to pick up a history book and see that socialism and communism lead to human suffering, drug mines, and a lot of bad outcomes everywhere it's been tried.
So, I love it. Everybody says, oh, our interest rates are so high. 1985, the average interest rate for various loans, the nominal interest rate was about 11.5% for mortgages. 11.5%. So,
Yeah,
what's that?
where did that come from? That came from absolute terrible policy from Jimmy Carter that Ronald Reagan had to come and clean up. We have to clean up these bad messes, and that's why it's so incumbent on elected officials to show the dangers of big government, out of control spending, because it leaves us in a lurch. And we have to get back to those true free market principles that make our economy actually work, cutting taxes, cutting spending.
But my point on that is they're complaining about the high mortgage rates and the high interest rates. I'm like, sweetheart, the generation you despise so much, that had it so easy, was paying far more than you in interest rates. So what's your problem? So that's what bothers me. We forget history. We forget it. We go, oh, every generation that came before us had it so much easier than we did. When in reality, they really didn't. And I think we need to start maybe some education here instead of just saying, oh, interest rates are so high. They're really not. So
sure, I mean, we have certainly seen that. I think about my own family situation. I grew up on a family farm, and the late 70s and those Carter policies of rampant inflation, high gas prices absolutely broke us and other farmers, and we had to pick up and figure out what to do after we lost the family farm. And we absolutely have to commit this to memory, and these cycles continue to go back over and over and over again. And again, I think it's also a matter of teaching our kids how important it is to learn from the lessons before us. So what happens when we do have those high interest rates? We have out of control spending, and we have to make sure that we use those policies that where government is controlled, where government tries to be central planners for us. The results are always bad, whether it's here in the United States of America, whether it's in Venezuela, whether it's in China or in the Soviet Union.
And that's, I think we failed them, and I think that was done purposely by our education system. That's just me, but I'm being cynical. But we have raised a generation that stands there in $140 sneakers who think that getting a $9 coffee every single day is a right, that's exactly how I should be able to live my life, and that's what I want to do, because Starbucks is about it. On their $1,200 cell phones, and they're complaining about how bad they have it and how easy the generation ahead of them had it. Now, I'm not saying that it's all peaches and cream for this generation. They are in college right now, and they're watching AI take away some of the jobs that they're actually studying for, right? So I get that, which is why I think you're starting to see the pendulum swing for trade schools, because AI is not coming to fix your air conditioning system in the middle of a heat wave. Some poor schlub is at midnight, but he's going to be getting triple overtime for it, So I'm not saying it's not all easy for them, but by the same token, they have it the best, I think, for the most part, out of any generation before them, right? Like, I mean, I look at the way I grew up, and I sound like my grandfather sitting on the front porch when I can look at what this generation has, right? Like, I walked uphill to school both ways. I literally walked to school, though. And my parents just sent you out the door and just assumed you would be dumb enough not to get kidnapped, right? So, my parents, it's true, we were feral. We were raised feral. Gen X is like the last feral generation, right? You want to think they're feral? Look at the baby boomers ahead of them. They were even worse. So, but how did they become so financially inept? And I look at people like the people who are leading all of this movement. They're calling them the Nepo baby Bolsheviks, because the leaders in this movement all come from very, very, very wealthy families that benefited quite well from capitalism, and they ain't given up any of their capitalist stuff. They're all living. The guy who's the chair of New York's that city's Democratic Socialists chapter, which is really communist. He lives in a Bed-Stuy row house that his parents bought and renovated for him, and they paid for it. Mom Dottie, we know, is a Nepo baby. Like, his parents have a lovely compound with an infinity pool, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, and in another country, and he gets to go hang out there and kick back. Morris Katz is one of the principals behind Mom Dottie's successful campaign, and Flatner's as well. They don't mind taking money from them. He signed a $6,500 lease in November. He was late on his rent for the first 3 months and then just stopped paying, because in New York you can do that. So
yeah, I don't think that's new. I mean, I think we see that even from the socialist and communist leaders from years past, that it's rules for thee and rules for thee and not for me. And I look at what the DSA is doing on housing. The Democratic Socialists of America are looking at a crisis on housing that has been fueled by over-regulation and that we have had, and now they want to qualify rent control, government-owned social housing, and crippling, mom and pop businesses that have fewer than 10 rentals. But the reality is that our housing crisis isn't a failure of free enterprise as they live in those luxurious elements that you mentioned. It's a direct result of government central planning at a time. Local zoning boards, endless permitting delays, bureaucrats with fees that throttle construction, that hold back permitting, that stop delays, and about 25% of a new home build is due to regulatory burdens. And it stops us from building the houses that we need. They want to essentially plan their way into more affordable housing, as they claim. The reality is it does the exact opposite. It really means more government, less housing, and it chokes that incentive. They want rent-free. What do we see every single time there's a rent-free? Developers stop developing. And when we get too much government, when they think they can centrally plan their way into it, it just doesn't work. And what do we continue to see with things like central planning? We're not seeing luxury. We're seeing places that are places of crime, where there are mold problems, there are pest problems, because guess what? There's no incentive for the government to come and fix those problems. With the free market, there is an incentive for them to fix those problems.
Right. So it's easy. And look at AOC. I look at her. And she's making this big thing out of freezing her eggs, and she broke up with her fiance, whatever, that's fine, don't care. She's spending her money to do it, I assume. But she hasn't paid back her student loan. She still has a student loan that she owes, let's see, what she owes. She hasn't paid back she hasn't made a payment since 2019. Now, when she was a bartender, like, I kind of get it. But now she makes $173,000 a year as a member of Congress. She has no dependents, right? So what is she spending her money on? But she hasn't paid back her student loan. In 2011, she graduated in 2011. All right, she owes between $15,000 and $19,000 in student loans. After in 2019, she owed $19,000. So has she paid it down? I don't know. But she's barely made a dent in her obligation in 7 years. But she has the money to do this egg freezing thing. Now, there are people who say that she's appealing to her constituents, the base, the Democrat, the communist base, because it makes her relatable to have all this student debt. So what they're doing is, in my humble opinion, is none of this is genuine. They're all cosplaying poor people. They're all pretending to be poor, and none of them are, right?
Well, I think it's a fantastic example of what you just mentioned with AOC. She is one of the biggest champions of a single-payer Medicare for all system. Guess what? Only the super elite and wealthy in those kind of systems have the opportunity to freeze their eggs. And God bless her. She wants to freeze her eggs and have kids. I think that that's one of the best things you can do in your entire life. That's just me talking. But when you have a single-payer system, the government isn't going to pay for people to do that. You get to do that because of the form of government you live in, because of the system that you live in, that there's a marketplace for you to be able to freeze your eggs, to be able to put that on hold and come back and be able to do it, because you are blessed to live and work in the United States of America. Go try freezing your eggs in Venezuela. Is it happening for you? Or is it one of the countries that has very strict healthcare laws or single-payer systems? You have to be of the absolute elite to be able to do that when you go to another country to do it. And so I find it funny that she favors towards the single-payer system. I mean, she uses the free market to get what she wants.
But, okay, so I gotta ask you, and I know we're coming up against the clock here. So why can't an entire generation see what we see?
Well, maybe we haven't done a good enough job of committing to our parents, but unfortunately, we are going to see the results of this. And but what I hope is that we don't let it get enacted. We absolutely have to stand up and fight against socialism getting a toehold in the Congress, getting a toehold into the Senate, and getting a further toehold into our culture. And so it's not enough for people to vote anymore. You have to get active. You have to get involved in your community. If you believe in somebody running for office, you need to knock on doors. You need to make phone calls. You need to let your neighbors know. It's not enough to just vote anymore. You got to get off the sideline and get activated.
Listen, they can't get Democrats, or they can't get Republicans to vote anyway. You can't get Republicans to vote in the midterms. You think you're going to get them out knocking doors? This is why you have, in my humble opinion, organizations like Scott Pressler, who's working with Turning Point to get people out knocking doors. If you want to go out and knock a door, then you go out and you write a check to Turning Point to go do it for you. And all you have to do is go vote. The bar is very, very, very low. So
Americans have knocked on over millions of doors already this cycle. And so we're out knocking on doors every single day. And so we're out there talking to Americans, hearing what their concerns are, involved in a number of races with AFP Action, our PAC. And so certainly meeting voters where they are, talking about the issues that matter most to them. And so it's definitely get off your couch and get involved. America matters, and we want to protect it and keep it strong. And so get out there and fight for America.
can people donate through you? And if they don't want, maybe they don't want to donate to Scott Pressler or who Scott Pressler is, whatever, can they donate through your organization?
Oh, absolutely. This is AmericansForProsperity.org. Look, there are a lot of great causes out there and all kinds of wonderful organizations. And so find the one that best fits you and your values, who you think does the best job. I'm always going to believe in Americans for Prosperity and the great work that we do, knock on doors, make phone calls. So visit us online at AmericansForProsperity.org. Appreciate anybody's support as well as you can.
Yeah, because people, especially young people, don't volunteer anymore. I was just having this conversation with someone at church that when I say young people, I'm talking about maybe like the 30 to 40 crowd. They're coming up. They would rather write a check, even into the 50s. They would rather write a check than stand in a booth, helping raise money for something, right? Like that's what they would rather do. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But just make it count. Right? Like just make it count and let's get people out there, because Republicans do not vote in the midterms, and I really, really, really fear that we are in the waning days of the Trump presidency, because if Democrats take over, there will not be 2 more years of the Trump presidency. It's done. And people have to realize that. I think this is a very interesting conversation. Strang, S-T-R-A-N-G, on X and on AmericansForProsperity.org. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks for having me anytime.
All right. More coming up. 855-839-1210.
All right, I must open up bag 4 with bag 3. So I do have that one here. I don't have to sort that. And I think this is the last sticker.
It's not just enforcement and what these that's what you have to do. It's clearly not working, is it?
Start your day with Jill and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free audio app.
At Crash Proof, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McHattie.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets, sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Through the LesDIY, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Free covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Free since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashfreeretirement.com.
Here it comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours.
Small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor, it's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company benefits. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread building yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Brickz?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance is written by NJM Insurance Company and subsidiaries.
Empty nester seniors. Does this sound familiar? You live in your house 20, 30, maybe 50 years. The kids are gone. The house is too big. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, we should really move. And then you look around. The basement, the garage, the closets, 30 years of stuff. And your kid's stuff who moved out years ago is also there. And suddenly you think, where would I even start? Start with me, Diane Cordano Realtors. Nobody cares what your house looks like right now. I've seen it all. You're a future home seller, and you don't need to tackle everything tomorrow. You need a timeline that tells you what to do and when to do it. Your home is one of your largest financial assets. Stop sitting around worrying about the move and start planning it. Get my free Future Home Seller Guide. Let's get things rolling. Diane says you don't have to be ready to move, just have to be ready to start. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
Hi, Max the Bald Eagle from Marathon here. We asked people if they could do an impression of me. Have a listen.
You can save up to $1 a gallon with the Marathon Rewards app.
That last one was pretty good. Marathon, where fun runs on full. Available at participating Marathon locations. Terms and conditions apply. See marathonrewards.com for details.
Now you can listen to Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
See what happened.
And welcome back to the Dom Giordano Show. Mary Walter in for Dom. And then Dom is back with you tomorrow and Wednesday. And I'm back with you Thursday. I don't know who's in Friday. Anyway. So we were talking to the Medicaid Director of Americans with Prosperity. And we're talking about what's happening with Gen Z, and how they're just embracing it, to communism, and they have had probably some upbringing of any generation up until that deadly every generation before them. They're not drinking out of the hose. Their parents didn't lock them outside and say, don't come back until the streetlights come on. We didn't have streetlights. So we had to be able to, because we were a little bit maybe more capable of which is why if it all goes sideways, we're definitely going to outlive them. We just had to be mildly aware of the fact that the sun was setting and we should probably get home or else they were going to kill us. So we just paid attention. We're like, oh, it's time to go home. Somebody would go, oh, look, it's getting dark. We should go home. So, when you get to the always in the woods or whatever, so kind of grew up in the middle of nowhere, and somebody would get close enough back to the houses, we knew how to find our way. Once we paid attention and got back to civilization, and we'd see somebody's like back porch light on. We're like, oh, we're gonna be late. We were going to die. So we would come around that. But they've had it better in that sense than most generations that could come before them. We'd have our own. I didn't even have a phone in my room, let alone a phone in my hand. My parents had 2 phones in the house. That was it. No more phones. Nobody had a phone in the room. There were no TVs in anybody's room. My parents, I had friends who had phones in their rooms, that I don't remember even, or had friends who had TVs in their rooms, but my parents were like, no. And we had one computer. You got a computer, one. It was my father's. If you needed to do something on it, you had to ask his permission, and 9 times out of 10, he said absolutely not, unless he could stand there to make sure you didn't screw it up. So why are they so, not only just, well, I want to know, why are they so economically ignorant? Is it because we didn't raise them to be having a kind of regard for money, where money comes from? 855-839-1210. Is that what happened? I don't know. And I kind of look around now. I don't have kids, and just, of transparency, I do not have children, but I do see them because I think, and I was like, you don't know. But I'm also not emotionally invested in your children the way you are. And so I sit on the outside and I watch. And I see what happens. And I see, the way, the differences in the kids are raised and the differences in households. And I see those little things that parents can buy, like, oh, who's your favorite? And those not. Now, some parents are but I see kids who are raised in households where they have chores from a young age, where they had jobs at 16, where they went to college and they had to get an internship. Those kids come out not like this. And they come out, and they may be a little to the left or but they have jobs. They all have jobs in their colleges, they have internships, and 9 times out of 10, unless you can screw up, you get offered.
Oh, you freaking pain in the ass.
Money because they had the things that were handed to them. I see families where if they take the kids to the store, they see this whatever it is that they want, and they get it. It's not just a presents on Christmas time type of household. It's presents because you want it, so you get it. It's kids who don't have chores. They have chores when they're really young, like 6 years old, and you got chores, and they were, just cleaning your toys. And as you got older, you had more and more things like making your bed. When you're 6, you can't make your own bed. So when they got older and older, then you got chores more age appropriate. And we had to earn money. And my parents would be like, well, just save your money for that. And we wanted something that's like, remember that and put it on your list. And then, maybe Santa will bring it, or, you get it for your birthday or your first communion or whatever it happened to be. So we grew up knowing that just because we want something, we didn't necessarily handed it. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. We each had to save money. We each had to tax books. So I grew up in a very rural area, and the woman who ran the bank, her husband was the postmaster. They're right next to each other in the stores, so they're right there. And we gave those tax books, which they didn't really use it, but they gave us those tax books. Because it was such a thrill to go and bring my money. I had to take half of whatever I got from my allowance. I had to bring it to the bank, and we fill out the little form, and I gave it to her, and she stamped it in my book, and I get my book back, and I get to see how much money I was saving. I was not allowed to, and I couldn't take it from the bank, obviously. It was for safe people. And I learned, we learned economics, but parents don't do that anymore. My question is, why not? Where did we fall down? 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. When did that stop? And why did it stop? I know parents, I have friends who want to be my kids. They always want to be their kids. And they wanted their kids to have a childhood that they never had. So that meant not having chores, that meant not having to work. Now, when we were in high school, during the school year, my father said, no jobs, because your job is school. This is your job. My dad was first generation American, so we all had to go to college. That was the American dream. And we were not trade school was not on the table for anybody. Not going to college was not on the table because that's the way he believed that this is the American dream. So fine. But in the summers, we had jobs. And you had to work around the house too. But as far as a job outside of the house for someone else, that didn't happen until the summer. So it had to be a summer-only job. I worked at a camp one year. Worked at a camp a couple of years. I'm not a good camper. I need a woman. So how did we not do this? I'm curious. 855-839-1210. Coming up, we will ask the young men here who fall into this age group as to what the heck happened. We're going to talk about why they are so susceptible to communism. I mean, I know we didn't teach it in school, but as parents, do we not even talk to our kids about this stuff? I don't know. 855-839-1210. Your call's coming up on the Dom Giordano Show.
Our head of accounting here at Fanatics Casino has filed another complaint about how rewarding we are. And I quote, I feel it's my duty to bring to your attention the amount of winning that's going on with our fan cash spin scam. I implore you to pull back on the rewards. Friend from accounting.
Appreciate her tenacity. We should reward her with a nice fruit basket or something.
At Fanatics Casino, the house always rewards.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. No purchase necessary. Void or prohibited. Must be 21 plus. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Casino app.
Here are 4 things your doctor probably doesn't know about losing weight. 1. Allicin actively burns fat and boosts your
I'm sorry, I got hung up
boost your body's own GLP-1 levels. 3.
trying to put this piece in. It's giving me a problem. It fell off. This is the Speed Champions 2-pack with the Lamborghini Huracán, STO, and the Revuelto.
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand.
I don't like it when stuff is just held on by one stud, and then it gave me a problem, and stuff is coming off.
That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care.
I need a different stud than this. This is not.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of that. So I don't want that for me. Should we need a ride? The long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have
This is really. I don't know how you feel when you're putting this stuff together, but I don't like it when it's just one stud.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
At Vista, we know you've got that idea for your business.
I already had pieces fall off trying to get the front end on.
Or makes your team say, we're really doing this. But an idea is just an idea until it's printed on signage, giveaways, custom apparel. Once it's in my hands, on the team.
This is the first car. So I'm in book 1. Book 2 will do the blue car.
Thousands of products, easy design tools, and real support to turn that idea.
It's this 2-pack right here.
Print your possible with code NEW20 for 20% off your first order at vistaprint.com.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread building yourself furniture,
Well, I'm normally not home on the weekdays. I'm off this week from work. I took off this week from work because I had the days. But I mean, I'd like to have more subs, but you could sub and ask your friends too. And normally, if I do live builds, they're on Saturdays and mostly on Saturdays so far, and then sometimes on Sunday. I did take a break from live building this past weekend, but while you're on, if you go to my community section, I do have a poll up for what I should build next live, and you have until September 5th to vote, 2 p.m. Eastern.
And right now, while your lawn is green and the trees are beautiful, get professional exterior photos. Because do you really want snow
And
trees advertising
that would help me.
assets? Of course not. Your home sale needs a plan, and your plan should
Like to give people a chance to see. Most of the stuff I like to build are car related, but I do have some other sets that I buy because I like the minifigures.
Or go to 215-576-8666.com.
Or what else? What was I going to say? I like the minifigures, or I like the building, and it's not all Lego. So I mean, I do alternative bricks too. So.
Start your new career with H&K Group Incorporated. H&K Group wants to offer you the opportunity to be part of the industry leader. 80 locations across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Visit hkgroup.com and apply today. H&K does not discriminate.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Hollywood Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 10 KC.
Credits and the house I talk to are really worried that if they don't pick up a dozen seats, they're going to be beholden to the new squad and this handful of Democratic socialists.
This is supposed to go in at an angle.
Entire Democratic establishment agenda. That's a big concern. They will.
If it's a slim majority, just like you're seeing on the right with the Tea Party, a little bit less so now. If it's a slim majority.
Yeah, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it.
And they're not running to be members of the Democratic Party. They're running, many of them, as Democratic socialists. It's a totally different political organization. And in fact, they want to take out the Democratic Party. I mean, that's their stated goal. They not only want to take out the Democratic Party, they want to take out the entire
I think this one here is almost done.
Democratic Party is allowed to participate in government. And they like communism.
Okay. Here's a print piece. These are all the stickers from the first build. So I went through all the stickers. They're all on here from the first card. This is the sticker sheet for the second one.
That is becoming a must-see. His show that he has, and that it's just incredible. The conversations that they're having, and he's getting people to engage in.
Which
The New York Times reporter,
which airplane
and that was Dana Bash from CNN.
did you build?
Who was there with Bill Maher, and saying things that I would not expect said from a New York Times reporter and a CNN host. But we live in strange times, don't we? All right, so we're talking about kids being fiscally irresponsible, and how about this? Fiscally ignorant. You see, and thinking that AOC is relatable. I want to vote for her because she's also drowning in student loan debt. She's not. She's pretending to drown in student loan debt. She's $173,000 a year and has no dependents. Has enough money left over to go pay for egg retrieval.
Cool. Front end is good. Oh, and here's the first minifigure.
So you're
Give you this nice looking woman here.
Cosplay thing that is happening before your eyes, but because you are economically illiterate, you don't get it. And I want to know what happened. What happened? And Brickz says perhaps the promise of free stuff promotes and justifies it. Yeah. And if you grow up in a household, and I've seen it, where kids just put their hand out because I need $20 or I need this, I would put my hand out and ask, I got $5 and be like, no.
I'm gonna do black.
And I was like, no, I'm gonna go to the local store and get some breakers. And I gotta get things like,
For the side view mirrors, they give you the opportunity to do orange or black, and I'm going to do black because this piece right here, they gave you the opportunity to do orange or black, that triangle, and I did black. So we will do black. Let's keep it. Too much orange. I'm not really a big fan of orange, so it's a big reason why I don't care for it. Oh, come on.
And whatever we earn, we have to give my father on behalf of whatever we earn. When we look at the house, we look at an apartment, and we contribute to everything. And that's what is a major value growing up.
Yeah, I don't.
Were those values?
I think I bought this. Well,
Oh, absolutely. I have,
I bought this to have something to build, and I think it might have been discounted from the regular price. I think I got it at Target. So.
My wife and I will make sure that things are straightened out. They have to do one or two chores at least. And we let them have their fun at the same time, but we also have to explain them the responsibilities and growing up that made it.
Did they get money in exchange for that? Like we had a piece of paper that was on the door to the basement, and it had every week, and it had your chores, and if you did them,
And now we can put the wheels on. So we do have a lot of pieces left over from this one, little small pieces.
And that allow them to become more aware of just being more responsible and just doing things and knowing that it's not a hands out, it's not something that's free, that's given to them. They have to learn whatever they were given. So it's something that they wanted.
yeah, and those kids, I'm sure grew up to be productive members of society and are not cheering for communism.
I mean, aside from the finicky pieces, like this piece right here, it does not want to stay in.
Thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate you.
This piece, that's like loose. It does not want to stay in. It's a pain.
By the way, tomorrow morning, 7:05, I will be on Wake Up America on Newsmax Television. So join me tomorrow morning, 7:05. Thank you, Louis. Let's go to Carl from Medford. Carl, hey, Carl, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Here we go with this one.
It's fairly complicated, but I think the reason that people today are not getting the
And this piece came off. Oh, shoot.
there's a certain fatigue that happens. My trust in everything has been pretty significant.
There we go.
Inflation alone has penalized
Here we go.
pretty dramatically. So you're putting aside money, and that money is not earning you. It is earning it, but not enough to keep up with inflation. So you're basically losing money. And it's because they have the power to do that. And it's tremendous. And it's happening now with all kinds of things. And I can kind of do the shrinkage in the supermarket. It's the difference between what came in at the loan
And I'm going to put the young lady in here.
And if you're vigilant, you can keep that down to between 7 and 5%. 5% is about the limit, and that begins to cost you more than that to keep it down. So there's always some level of corruption, but our government on all levels, including the economic level today, is functioning with somewhere around, I think, 40%. We're losing 40%.
We should get a ton of these. All right, that's the first car. Set that one aside. And
Oh, just a savings account? Well, nobody puts money in just a savings account because you make no money on it.
I'm going to go to the next book.
1%.
For the blue car. At least blue and orange. It kind of looks like the Gulf racing colors. That I don't mind. All right. Here's the chassis for the next one. So that sort this out.
No, I don't know what it was or what it was.
1980, 13.5%.
And this person only has
Do you
one
know
face,
whether
this
the
man.
average- It was 2.6%.
So,
Is that a cumulative over the whole year? That means that the buying power at the beginning of the year, the buying power at the end of the year were a difference of.
It was the average. It's the average of the year. I can give you month by month. But the average of the 1980 was 14.5%. In what is this? In March of 1980, it was 14.8%.
Were those the stagflation years? Was any better?
1980 wasn't that? Reagan came in 80, right?
Yeah, after
Yeah.
that was happening. Stagflation.
But my parents, I have to tell you, didn't give up and tell me that it wasn't worth saving money.
No, my parents wouldn't have given up and kept it. What I'm saying to you is that now, it's time to go. I look at it, that's the thing they would do the same. Investing wisely. The market, a lot more. It takes a lot. I think it takes a lot more attention and a lot more focus. On good practice do that. And enforcing in your household that there are contributions and responsibilities you have to any society, that's certainly possible. But the rules for
I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I don't need to cut you off. I'm sorry, but we're up against clock. I understand what you're saying as far as investing. That's changed. Do I wish my parents had told me? And thank you so much. I mean, you got to run here. I appreciate you, Carl. You're always a great caller. I did what my husband and I do to make money to invest. Is it different from what my parents did? Yeah, it is. Honestly, I don't know what my parents were invested in. I have no idea. They never bothered to tell me. What they did stress was living below your means. When you want to buy something, can you pay for it in cash? If you can't pay for it in cash, then you probably shouldn't buy it, or you should wait until you can. Unless it's something like a house or a car that you need. And my father would used to say, you don't need all the fancy bells and whistles on that car, because as soon as you drive it off the lot, it is worth less than it was when it was on the lot. So it immediately depreciates. So you don't need all those bells and whistles. So I think that those are the types of things that were instilled in most generations, and for some reason were not instilled in the younger generation. We're going to talk to some members of the younger generation coming up, and if you want to jump in, 855-839-1210. But investing in certain things, yeah, I wish someone had told me when I was much younger that I should be buying real estate and rent those puppies out and get some income. Live in an apartment or live, I told to live below our means, and we always did. And it helps. It's a lot of more disposable income to invest in things like real estate. Or a 150-year-old house that you think will someday have the money to fix up. 855-839-1210. More coming up on the Dom Giordano Show.
So that's one thing. You're teaching high-end EQ courses in 12th grade. We have a bunch of future high school students in their kids' positions. You're a public school district. One of the things that just to get them to even show up for class. I feel bad for some of those teachers because they're trying to think about that. 14 of the next 21 weeks in recess. But then I got to sit there and say, well, we got confidential. We do confidential cases first, right?
Start your day with Cato and Company. Weekday morning 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
At Crash Commit Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McMacken.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Group covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been freshman since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit trashproofretirement.com.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread building yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Empty nester seniors. Does this sound familiar? You live in your house 20, 30, maybe 50 years. The kids are gone. And the house is too big. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, we should really move. And then you look around. The basement, the garage, the closets, 30 years of stuff. And your kids' stuff who moved out years ago is also there. And suddenly you think, where would I even start? Start with me, Diana. Put on a realtor. Nobody cares what your house looks like right now. I've seen it all. You're a future home seller, and you don't need to tackle everything tomorrow. You need a timeline that tells you what to do and when to do it. Your home is one of your richest financial assets. Stop sitting around worrying about the move and start planning it. Get my free future home seller guide. Let's get things rolling. Diane says you don't have to be ready to move. You just have to be ready to start. Call 215-576-8666. Or go to 215-576-8666.com.
Our head of accounting here at Fanatics Casino has filed another complaint about how rewarding we are. And I quote, I feel it's my duty to bring to your attention the amount of winning that's going on with our fan cash spin scale. I implore you to pull back on the reward. Friend from accounting.
Appreciate her tenacity. We should reward her. Maybe with a nice fruit basket or something.
At Fanatics Casino, the house always rewards.
Gambling problems? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. No purchase necessary. Void or prohibited. Must be 21 plus. Not age or Fanatics Casino app.
Fast food prices keep climbing, but the nutrition still disappoints. It's time to switch. Go to almacet.com right now and get a better, healthier option for less than $4 per meal. Packed with high-quality protein, Almacet is the quick, satisfying superfood protein shake that keeps you full and feeling good. Greasy fries, no sugar overload, no afternoon crud. All natural, complete nutrition that fits your budget. Change how you eat. And get it today at almacet.com. That's ALMASET.com.
Follow Tucker at 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
I love that. Welcome back to John Giordano show. I'm Mary Walter. All right, Henry, you're part of this this generation that we were talking about, the under 30 generation. What the hell happened?
I wonder that a lot. Because you were talking about the calls you went through, the interview you did with Ken, and it's just, it feels like there's not just one thing, you know, you can put your finger on and be like, you know, that's what did it. It just feels like a lot of little things contributed over time and just kind of led to this. Like, I feel like there's also, like, I don't know, maybe a lack of respect within the generation for the things we have, the things we've been given, almost. They not appreciate, you know, the time and money that went into, say, getting a gift or, you know, having something done for you. I just feel like there's not an appreciation for people or things. I feel like that has something to do with it.
Okay, so is it when you? All right, so let's go back. So there's no appreciation for things. And I see that all the time. Like I see when now, like weddings now, right? Everything's a big. First of all, everything's a big event. Everything is a huge production. Every one of your life events is a huge because you're the first ones to ever do it. And a huge milestone. And now weddings, like I've gone to weddings where of course there's no invitation. There's just a QR code. And so I can donate to their life because that's what everybody wants now is money. Nobody wants like things because they all live together beforehand. So now it's just pay for our honeymoon, pay for our life, and then I get a generic thank you card in the mail that they don't even sign. They just have someone else print it up and put it in an envelope that already has it. Nothing on it says to me that they actually touched it at all. Nothing saying, you know, thank you for the whatever it was that I sent them. Because sometimes I purposely will not give money. Like I purposely am getting you the crock pot. That's just the way it is. And I one time I got a thank you card for thank you for attending our wedding. And that's what you get now. And I'm like, now I'm mad.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things you gotta sit down and hammer out as many things as possible. It's gotta be like your wedding, the biggest people in your life getting an invite, and they care an awful lot about you, so you gotta show them that. Right?
All right, we'll talk about this on the other side. All right, I'm up against the clock and I don't want you to yell at me because I'm already over. But I'm leaning up on Lindy for that. So, coming up on the other side, we'll talk about this purpose here as well. And we'll get your calls as well, 855-839-1210. Don't go away. More on the Dom Giordano Show.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You've spent years taking care of everyone else. Now it's your turn. Whether you've been thinking about replacing missing teeth, improving your smile, or restoring the ability to eat and smile comfortably, Dr. Robert Bentz and Dr. Emily Bentz, board-certified prosthodontists, specialize in complex restorative and cosmetic dentistry. You can smile confidently in photos, enjoy meals, laugh freely, and feel yourself again. Schedule a consultation with Bentz Dental. 610-272-6949.
My name is Stevie.
I'm Larry.
With Ray, he stopped the breaking on my phone. I got an alert that there were some suspicious guys looking in our house. I hit the siren, they took off.
With Ring, it's protected. Learn more at ring.com.
Venom Gym, official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the heat all season long. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, a free-to-play game where every swing can score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boost, and even all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat with MLB same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens, parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. GM app and step up to the plate today. MLB trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and Game Sense remind you to play responsibly. See offer terms. 21 plus only. New Jersey only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards pay back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Flying out of town? Let Philadelphia International Airport handle all your parking needs with our new Premier Valley Parking Service, managed by the Philadelphia Parking Authority. Reserve ahead at phl.org. We'll pick your car up at your departing terminal and store it in our exclusive on-site Cover Valley parking area. For an additional charge, you can even opt to have your car washed in detail. We'll monitor your return flight and have your car waiting for you outside of baggage claim. Make your no-wait valet reservation today at phl.org.
This is the call of the Australian rubberbird. This is the call of the Alaskan chili bird.
Chili bird.
Call of the American baseball team.
Hello.
Did you know you can save up to $1 a gallon with the Marathon Rewards app?
No.
Fun runs on full. Available at participating marathon locations. Terms and conditions apply. See marathonrewards.com for details.
Progressive presents the Museum of You. We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the new era. Find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you can protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with your renter's policy from Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurance not available in most legal situations.
Recently, our company softball team lost a big game by 1. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus must be physically located in New Jersey. Please apply. The 2026 Lincoln Aviator SUV turns a robust list of features into a world of premium experiences. Excite your drive with a perfect horsepower and torque. Customize your comfort with available perfect position seats featuring 30 configurations. Make room for 2 more passengers with powerful third-row seats that can fold flat with the touch of a button. And immerse yourself in the finest expression of design and services with available elevated packages. Experience it for yourself by visiting your local Lincoln retailer.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW. Let's surprise you.
There's never been a better time to get outside and experience the benefits of nature. Discover year-round trails and explore the outdoors with All Trails. Download the free app today and find your outside.
If you can make a dish, you can make a signature recipe and showcase it on your beautiful website that you built with Squarespace. And if you can make a stitch, you can make an outfit and put it on your online store that you built with Squarespace. And if you can hit the pose, you can teach the class that they can book on your site that you built with Squarespace. Because whatever your business, you can build it at squarespace.com. Use offer code EMPIRE for 10% off your website or domain.
A BetterHelp ad. One of the hardest parts about starting therapy, not knowing what to expect. Instead of listening to an ad, hear from the people who've actually been there. Visit BetterHelp.com/reviews to explore real client reviews that are updated every day. With an average live therapy session rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on more than 1.7 million client session reviews. The feedback speaks for itself. Visit BetterHelp.com/letsbegin.
DQ presents Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
Hey guys, Revuelto's back for another season. That's right, on audio and video every Monday and Thursday.
Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McNabb.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread building yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance is written by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Empty nester seniors. Does this sound familiar? You live in your house 20, 30, maybe 50 years. The kids are gone. The house is too big. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, we should go move. And then you look around. The basement, the garage, the closets, 30 years of stuff. And your kids' stuff who moved out years ago is also there. And suddenly you think, where would I even start? Start with me, Diane Cordano Realtors. Nobody cares what your house looks like right now. I've seen it all. You're a future home seller, and you don't need to tackle everything tomorrow. You need a timeline that tells you what to do and when to do it. Your home is one of your largest financial assets. Stop sitting around worrying about the move and start planning it. Get my free future home seller guide. Let's get things rolling. Diane says you don't have to be ready to move, just have to be ready to start. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Live on the free Odyssey app. It's downtime now. Giordano.
And welcome back. I love working here because every time that they turn my mic on, here goes your hot. I'm like, thank you. You hit a certain age and you'll take whatever you can get.
I understand too. I was in your shoes. I thought that every second. Every 15 minutes, I'd be like, oh, yeah.
Thank you. I hear it like 4 or 5 times an hour. It's fantastic. My husband's going to come home and go, it's so cool today. All right, so. Exactly. All right, so you are 27 years old. You are in the under 30 demographic of which we are speaking. And you guys have become a generation, so welcome to it. And now, I know everybody hates boomers. Now everybody's going to hate you guys. So it's those of us, like the Gen Xers are just kind of like forgotten.
Exactly. Oh, totally. Yes. I agree with that. No one even. No offense. No one even cares.
Right, but we don't care either. Right?
Yeah, and that's how I think this whole happened. You guys didn't care, so we don't.
Well, we don't care because our parents didn't care, right?
That is absolutely. So you're passing on the generational trauma of not caring.
It's not trauma. Is it trauma for you, Kirk?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's not trauma.
No, my parents were great. They raised me for my sister very well, and learned lessons the hard way. Like working, I didn't really learn about money. I had a paperboy job, and I blew the money on the arcade.
Oh no, you only did that once, right?
Yeah. I made it really unhappily. I blew the arcade every time I had a job. You have a job?
Yeah, my parents would have been like, oh, well, you're in trouble. Or my father would have given me a loan, but he would have taught me what interest was.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to tell you, I say I don't. Like, the older I get, the more I say it. And I'm like, and I know why. Because my parents only cared about certain things. And those were the important things. And like knowing where we were for 8 hours a day was not important.
Correct. That's absolutely correct.
We were miles away from the house.
Yeah, same.
Miles. And I never knew a kid who got kidnapped, did you? That was all a big lie. And you get the kids in the back of the milk carton. My mother's like, oh, they weren't paying attention. All right, so here's the problem. Kirk and I are fine. The millennials somehow are fine too, although I do find them not to be great with money. They're not great with money. Why?
They're the ones who have been playing there. They are the politicians that are pushing the whole DSA, agenda movement. They're the ones who cry the most at the money. I think people get mad at Gen Z for not knowing how to use money. That's what but like talk about, pride baby. What's that?
All right, that's fine. That's fine. It takes pressure off us. That's fine. Even if I were a boomer, I'd be like, and by the way, the lines are so arbitrary because I know families where people who are like, they're Gen X, but like their older sibling is boomer. Like it's so arbitrary. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I just think like if you're that close to the next generation, you should probably just go with that one because they're probably paying you.
I'm like stuck somewhere in the middle. Like I think they refer to me as more of a zillennial. Like Gen Z, millennial kind of hybrid. Okay. Like a lot of the things you described, like I did growing up. Like I was out, you come back, when the street lights turn. Or like, you know, my next door neighbor, like the mom had a really loud whistle, and you heard that really loud whistle. It's like, oh shoot, we gotta go home or something. And, you know, a lot of the things you described, I did. Like I had a job in high school. I had multiple jobs in high school. I don't think that's lost completely.
So where, in comparison to your friends, did they grow up the same?
You know what? It's funny because there are some that, yes, you know, they had a job in high school the same way. They're playing out with their friends, you know, up until dark. But then there's other ones that, yeah, that kind of more have the silver spoon, and they kind of spend money like they still have the silver spoon. Maybe they still do.
So when you see them who spend like they still got the silver spoon, do you guys ever talk about how they doing?
No, honestly, not at all. No, don't really talk about money or finance. Maybe behind each other's back.
So you never say to them when you're complaining about money, you go, dude, $9 on a coffee every single day.
No, you more shoot the other, you know, like-minded people. You shoot them a look. Really, this one's complaining again about money.
Really, you don't even think that that's like a friendly thing to do, like as a friend, like, well, you know.
I honestly, I'd like to say, I'd like to just say, I get everything out in the open. That's the way I roll. But yeah, I think the kind of social convention with my friends in this generation, let people go about their business, let them do what they do, let them spend all the money they want. Yeah, they want to wear it. I'm not. The others around.
Okay.
I don't want to lose that kid. So it's a weird, you know, line I have. You want to say something, but you also want to, like, you know, hurt their feelings.
But so you just rather let them get into debt and kind of being in debt and learn that.
Yeah, it's really egregious. There's some, like, if something like we're like, dude, you gotta fix this. You gotta turn your life around. Then it's like you said, so like it's just little things like the $9 little things, you know. I understand.
I did that for a man who was a staffer on Capitol Hill, and he came on to talk about privilege with staffers, especially during the shutdown and stuff. And he was there with Starbucks, and he was talking about how much money they were make, and this is at 7 o'clock, and then I go, yes, I go, but can't help but notice drinking Starbucks there at night, you know, not that I don't doesn't happen to cost either, but how much that cost you? How much it cost you? And you know what? He goes 7 days a week. And he talks to people, I get to talk to people, and okay, and so I loaded it up for him over a year. And I was like, $7,000. And sometimes people don't see it until they do something. You know?
Yeah, maybe that's. That's a nice way for you. Yeah.
It's like $2,500. No money. If you're drinking a $9 Starbucks, which how much is Starbucks usually? Is it?
I don't go there.
So let's go with 7. All right, let's lowball it. $25.55.
Yeah.
If it's 9, it's $32.85. $3,200. I don't know, because I don't get it. I mean, I'm that person who does it at home.
Yeah, I get it here at work. It's free. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah,
It's not the best, but it's just the job. That's what we're doing.
It's work. Yeah, it's just a warm liquid when you get to work to make you feel like you gotta wake up. Sometimes that's what happens. All right, 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. So I guess the last question here is, if you don't say anything to each other when it comes to this, are your friends who kind of like grew up with a silver spoon and still live that way, are they more left-leaning?
No.
Interesting. So why do you think so many are? And why do you think there were so many in your generation? We look at AOC and go, she understands the struggle because she's also drowning in a lot of student debt.
Yeah, I do think it has to do with kind of the spending power of the dollar. I feel like it doesn't go as far as it used to.
But that's for every generation. It goes less and less.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. We've gotten to the point where we're now the Gen Z. We're the adults now. We're the young adults, and we see how much things cost. And yeah, it's like, what are you going to do? Not buy things? Not spend money? Like you have for certain things, you have to. And if you want some of the nice luxuries on the side, yes, it costs you more money. But like even just basic, like groceries and gas and things like that, like those add up to the point where you can't really spend, you don't really save any money. And if you do, you probably want to spend it on the $9 coffee at Starbucks. That's kind of where I see it. Like young people look to people like AOC and the DSA for an answer because frankly, they've seen, we watched the 2008 financial crisis, as kids. We went through COVID as, for me, I was a college student, like Blackstone. We watched what these things did to, our parents and then us as we entered the workforce. And I just think there's no clear answers from our government. And I don't see why you look to government to get more answers, but that's what a lot of people are looking for. They want someone to give them the answers, and they're looking for the DSA to do that because they have shiny new ideas. Like, hey, why don't we try this? And it's like, I know people like you, Mary, and be like, well, we've tried this before in different countries. I'm just saying that's where I think people go.
So they look for more government to fix the problem that government created.
Correct. Or just a different form. Like that's the thing. They think like, okay, this worked up until a point. This whole capitalism, freedom, the Constitution, this worked up until a point. It's time to do a hard pivot to a 180 because it's not working out for us. That's what I think.
Because it's always worthless as time goes on, right? But coming out of the Depression, the children of the Depression did not say, "Oh, this is a horrible thing we went through. We saw what our parents were doing. People were killing themselves, jumping out of buildings because the government failed and the stock market crashed." They didn't go for communism.
Well, wasn't that the silent generation?
Right, the silent generation. Right. They didn't go for communism. No.
I understand that, but also didn't they fight
Yeah, so they've got it way worse than that. I mean, so it's even worse, right?
Yeah, well, they were just silent, like they're insane, right? Is that what they're called now?
But whether they said something or not, the question is why? Why does the 20-somethings whine holding a $1,200 phone in their hand, $140 sneakers on the feet, sipping a $9 coffee, or they're crying when their grandparents fought a war and saw people jumping out of buildings and their father was selling apples for a nickel in order to try to feed them?
Well, there's also more things to pay for them. You just said the $1,200 phone. Not that the phone has to be $1,200. You do need a phone in today's day and age. Like, I can't park out on, I can't park on Market Street at all. I mean, if I want to park out on Chestnut, like I need to have an app in order to do that. I need to pay my phone bill. I think I have to do that.
That's true. But they have everything that you don't have now, right? Either way you don't need it. So there's trade-offs. They need a much simpler life. No one's telling you you need a $1,200 phone now. No one's telling you need the latest phone. You can have a flip phone that's perfectly fine. Okay. You don't need a $9 coffee. You don't need $140 sneakers.
I mean that.
Right?
I'm not saying, I'm not in that. I'm just saying, there are certain things that have evolved over time and they do cost money. Whereas, they lived a much simpler life then.
100%. But a radio was the biggest thing, and that cost a lot of money. And a lot of people invested in that. You can have a television, but you don't need 10,000 different apps that you pay for on your phone all the time that people used to have. You don't need those.
You know, there are channels in TV either. It's only three back.
We had more because I lived in Central Jersey, so we had all the New York and all the Philly stations. Yep. And New York also had, besides the three big ones, they also had 5, 7, 9, 11 in addition. I know. Except every now and then we'd have to go to my father with that thing to move the antenna so you could get the Philly one. So we didn't have those stuff. So it's like DVRs came along, or they were tape VCRs first. You didn't have to have one. My parents did not have cable until the first Gulf War. And that's only because my brother was home and paid for it. So I think we could use more, I think America's got a tendency to confuse wants and needs. And truth be told, there's a lot of times that we think we need something or we don't. Yes, you need a cell phone to do the app to park your car. Okay, fine. But is it possible? Well, can you even get to work on a bus?
Yeah. I usually walk.
Okay, so there you go. So now you don't need the cell phone.
No,
I get that you need a cell phone. I get it. I totally understand that. But I do think like a lot of people have streaming services and this and that and everything else, and they've got Hulu and YouTube and things on. I have to have it immediately. No, you don't. You can wait a day to get it. And they have, our Apple TV, and they have this and they have that. Well, let them show over here and show over here. I gotta watch this and here. You don't need all those things. You should make a point like living below your means. It is possible.
I get, when you talk, I mean, teach yourself your gut.
No, I know you do. And I just think that it's just interesting that having friends who don't live that way to drive or who complain about where they are in life, but let's spend money on all these things before I do that.
Yeah. It's not, I don't try not to give it too much thought, but it is, in the moment.
I had a friend like that, and we'll go to call 855-839-1210 if you want to join us, or you can just leave a message, tag me in a post on X at Mary Revuelto Radio. Let's quickly, before I go into that, let's go to Maureen from Windmill. Let's go to that. Hi, Maureen.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. My name is Maureen.
Hi.
So I wanted to comment. I'm a boomer. My husband is 1974, so I'm not sure if he is, but we have 2 kids. One is 49, one is 40, so those 2 different generations. Both of them, I proudly say, are not like any of the people you're describing. They have full-time jobs, they own a home, they have magnificently successful lives. They're on board with all the things that we believe we taught them, and even they stand like, what the heck are these other people doing? Literally, they don't understand it. It's just not like any of them, and I'm sure we're not alone. I'm sure there's plenty of people with those children with those that age group too. One of them got a scholarship to college, and he said, we had money stakes. If you lose it, you're on your own, yo-yo. And he did, and we let him on his own. And he paid his student loan off. Of course he did. We didn't rely on the government to do it or just not pay it, no. Okay. So, I think for everybody, which I totally agree with, but there's plenty of other people, their ages who are out there getting it done, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely, Maureen. Thank you so much. I wanted to get you in here. Eileen, hang on. We're going to get to you next on the Dom Giordano Show.
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McMahon.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 a month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember and customize your car insurance and save for Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow. Yellow is the color of lemons. Lemons grow on trees. Trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread building yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Lumibricks?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Happiness or seniors. Does this sound familiar? You live in your house 20, 30, maybe 50 years. The kids are gone. And the house is too big. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, we should really move. And then you look around. The basement, the garage, the closets, 30 years of stuff. And your kids' stuff who moved out years ago is also there. And suddenly you think, where would I even start? Start with me, Diane Cordano Realtors. Nobody cares what your house looks like right now. I've seen it all. You're a future home seller, and you don't need to tackle everything tomorrow. You need a timeline that tells you what to do and when to do it. Your home is one of your largest financial assets. Stop sitting around worrying about the move and start planning it. Get my free future home seller guide. Let's get things rolling. Diane says you don't have to be ready to move. Just have to be ready to start. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
You know, tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, welcome back. We're talking about Gen Z, the under 30 crowd. And there's a lot to talk about with them because I have some other things too that we can talk about as well. There's such a different generation. Not all of them, obviously. I have 3 nieces who are Gen Z, and all 3 of them got great grades, but they had chores, they had jobs, they got great grades, and they all have great jobs. One of them is getting married on Saturday, and she's a Philly girl. I mean, how do we break her jersey real hard? But you know, there's a lot that they're very different, a very different generation. I guess if you know then millennials comes along, where they're just so different than the generations or before them that you take notice. 855-839-1210 is my number. Let's talk. Let's go to Eileen from Gloucester. Eileen, welcome.
Hi there, how are you?
Good, that's my middle name is Eileen.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and everybody calls me out. It says Ellen. I'm like, no, not it.
Oh, I get that all the time. Ellen, Irene, every name but I do.
I know. There's not very many of you running around. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just give it. Okay. I'm just called in reference to this younger generation. As far as I'm concerned, they're a bunch of snowflakes. They're lazy. Okay, they have never had any hardships. When you go through hardships, any kind of hardship, you learn real quick how to tighten your belt. You don't need a $10 coffee from 7 Brickz. You don't need $200 sneakers. You go to the clearance rack. Wait till there's a sale. They don't know how to save. They don't know how to save. It's spend. thank God I have two children who have their own homes. They all have great jobs. They married great people, and they're doing well. But I see so many other people that were just floundering, they're still living with their parents, and it's just a matter of being lazy. Why do you have to spend $18 for a McDonald's meal because you had Uber pick it up for you? An $8 meal is now costing you $18.
Yeah, there is that. But see,
There's no sense to anything that they do.
I'm going to disagree with you on one thing. I do think COVID really, really messed those kids up. I do. They were robbed of college graduations. My niece had her didn't have a college graduation. Her senior year, she was living off campus, which is great. But she didn't have any of the specialties of college. She doesn't have those memories of college. And the same thing for her, the younger one was in college at the time. Then the baby was in high school, and she didn't have the dances and the proms and all that stuff. So I do think that those kids, I think that and it also screwed up their education for them once they were young. So I do think that they had an event in their life that adults really screwed up.
She had a very nice wedding at her house. It was very nice. Okay? But the kids don't want to, they don't want to sacrifice. They don't want to wait for anything. They don't want to sacrifice for anything. Well, and you're I need $1,200 food because all they pay for anything, I need it back. There's a thing called a credit card.
Well, no, but I think he was talking about he was talking about smoking, and his card because then they don't have any money for you to so
you could get a basic bill that is and you're going to have to $1,200.
Yep.
So it's a matter of priority.
Right.
It's not worth getting a house or spending money like a drug dealer.
Yeah, no, I there's a lot of which that I agree with, and just I do think though that these kids did have a really hard time with COVID. I'm going to give you some credit with that. Eileen, thank you so much for joining me and having a wonderful rest of your week. Yeah, no, having a wedding. I know someone who their daughter got married, and what they did is they had a small church wedding. They were also in Virginia, so they were not as locked down as the crazy states during stupid times. So they were in Virginia, and Duncan was governor, so it wasn't as crazily locked down as New Jersey and Pennsylvania, etc. And the cities were locked down. And they just had a small church wedding, right? Just immediate family, very small. And then they had another church wedding where they had the dress and the whole bit, and then they had the reception. And that was it. The venue still had their money, so they had the big reception. So they had two weddings. That's how they handled it. 855-839-1210. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 7:05 a.m. Right now, I will be on Wake Up America on Newsmax. So you can join me there. And then tomorrow night is my podcast, live cast. And I know there will be so many familiar names from the chat on YouTube here for this show. And I know you'll all be there. Joseph and Suze and Mangle and Sal and Dave in South Carolina and too many to name. I'm trying to remember everybody. Dolly. So I'm never going to remember everybody, but really appreciate you guys joining me tomorrow night, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. My guest is Todd Storage. His new book out, so we're going to talk about that with Todd. We've seen him before on there, and he's a great friend of the podcast, so he'll be joining us. All right, don't go away. We're coming up on the Dom Giordano Show.
Two different things. If you're going on vacation with a bunch of adults and you want to have, those evenings where you're at the short house
a whole private pit or whatever. They just keep these kids for like a 4-day, 3-night vacation to insert whatever beach camp. Are you supposed to be out at the beach or at the pool or on the boardwalk most of the day? Whatever happens to just finding something that's affordable, you're gonna maybe take a nap at, you're gonna sleep at, you're gonna really go. But why are you spending 10 grand on something that you're gonna spend like 5% of your vacation time in? It's not affordable. You don't have to do the Jersey Shore.
Clearly has.
Yeah.
Start thinking with Keel and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210 WPT. Free Odyssey app.
Our head of accounting here at Fanatics Casino has filed another complaint about how rewarding we are. And I quote, I feel it's my duty to bring to your attention the amount of winning that's going on with our fan cash spin scheme. I implore you to pull back on the reward. Friend from accounting.
Appreciate her tenacity. We should reward her. Maybe with a nice fruit basket or something.
At Fanatics Casino, the house always rewards.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. No purchase necessary. Waiver prohibited. Must be 21 plus. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Casino app.
Fast food prices keep climbing, but the nutrition still disappoints. It's time to switch. Go to almacet.com right now and get a better, healthier option for less than $4 per meal. Packed with high-quality protein, Almacet is the quick, satisfying superfood protein shake that keeps you full, feeling good. No greasy fries, no sugar overload, no afternoon curve. All natural, complete nutrition that fits your budget. Change how you eat and feel better today at almacet.com. That's ALMASED.com.
Hi, this is Don here. Danny, you've spent years taking care of everyone else. Now it's your turn. Whether you've been thinking about replacing missing teeth, improving your smile, or restoring the ability to eat and smile comfortably, Dr. Robert Banks and Dr. Emily Banks, board-certified prosthodontists, specialize in complex, restorative, and cosmetic dentistry. You can smile confidently in photos, enjoy meals, laugh freely, and feel yourself again. Schedule a consultation with Banks Dental Group, 610-272-6949.
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McHatton.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets, sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct to the point. A little loud, but
You don't buy car insurance the same way you do hot dogs.
not yet. But both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread build-it-yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, welcome back. We're just talking about the rise of communism in the under 30 crowd and lack of financial literacy, which I think leads to a lot of this, and leads to them to say things like AOC is a role model. Like, no, but is she? Yeah, she's a role model because she too is drowning in school debt, unpaid loan debt, and they don't put 2 and 2 together. Like, well, she makes $173,000 a year. She has no dependents. How is that happening? Or I used to say to my nieces all the time, especially the youngest one, she'd go, but Aunt Mary, I need that. I need that. And I would say, no, you don't need it. You want it, but you don't need it. She gets so mad at me. She gets so mad at me because I said, no. I said, Christmas and birthdays are for wants. You know, the rest of life is for needs. The rest of the year is for needs. Christmas, birthdays, weddings, that's everything. That's a want, but the rest of the year is a need. You know, so she learned. She learned the difference, and then hopefully she's gonna be taking care of it when she needs someone to take care of her. I have all my nieces and nephews trained that Aunt Mary's coming to live with you when she gets older. So yeah, and I have one who is a pickleball star making a lot of money. Like he plays professionally.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and I text him if he wins gold or whatever. I'm like, way to go, save that gold. And Mary's gonna want a happy hour, right? And he just texts me back every time. He goes, anything you want, Aunt Mary. Such a good kid. I always tell him I want to go to the home with happy hour. So, all right, let's go back. Let's go back to the phones. Almost forgot here. Joe from Columbus. Hey, Joe, welcome.
Hey, Mary, how are you? How's your summer going?
Almost done.
No, we still got a month left.
I will say, like, October is my favorite because the bennies have caught on to, or shoebies have caught on to local summer in September. So I find that the ocean, swimming in the ocean in October is the best. It's cold when you get out, but the water is so warm. So I'm kind of digging the beginning of October into the local summer.
Yeah, but that Gulf Stream keeps it going probably through late October. So yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I just don't like getting out of the water. That's a problem. Well, I hope you had a wonderful summer, Joe. Go ahead.
It's still going on, and it will continue. Good. Mary, I'd like to give you a tale of two sons. They're both conservative, wrapped around a middle liberal daughter. But the thing I noticed, and yeah, I'd like to roll the clock back and have a bigger say, be a bigger ogre, but my oldest son, when he was born, he was the new tchotchke. He was the new knick-knack on the shelf. And my in-laws took total control of them, no matter what I said, you know. And I got really aggressive at the time, you know. I was telling people, you have a chance to raise children. This is not your time. But they gave my oldest son everything he wanted. Behind my back, in front of me, every which way till Sunday. My youngest son, who just graduated from engineering school, he wasn't left to fend for himself, but he was left alone enough to see what was going on around him. And he became the head of the student engineering department. He graduated cum laude. He had a job waiting for him for, a year ago, well into his internship. And, the excuse I hear on my in-law side of the family is everybody's different, but they don't want to look at the reasons why everybody is different. You had a say in that, and whether you should or you shouldn't have, you had a course to where both was going. And one became very independent, the other became very entitled.
Do they get along today?
Oh, they're buddies. Because, they have to be. My youngest son, you can't hurt him physically, but you could break his heart. And his heart goes out to people. And my oldest son loves, whether he's going to admit it or not, he loves my youngest son's accomplishments. So they basically had to join forces. Behind the scenes, I think there's a little resentment that goes on. But, my son, everybody, all my mother-in-law's grandchildren, were given a head start on their first cars. She would sell them her car when it was time to sell it at a discount rate. And she had 9 grandchildren. Well, my oldest son cracked his car up, and he thought he deserved another handout from his grandmother. And, everybody's telling him, well, maybe that'll happen, maybe that won't happen. I had to step in and say, Jeffrey, let's do this stupid math here. You want another handout from your grandmother, and she has 8 other grandchildren. Let's talk about this. $7,000 times 9 kids. Could you part with that? I had to be like pragmatic in the whole thing when nobody else was.
Yeah. Yeah, my father's parents bought the 8 grandchildren. But not really. But everybody got TVs for their rooms one year, except us. We didn't, because my parents put their foot down and said absolutely not. No TVs in their rooms, not happening. No phones, none of that stuff. But I will say my grandparents, so I got to give them credit for that. Even though I was heartbroken at the time, I was like, it's not fair. They did the right thing. And my grandparents stuck to their, my parents stuck to their guns, and my grandparents respected that. And I think that respect is a big part.
And you know what, Mary? You got to press upon your children that it's not a measurement of love as to what they get.
Exactly. And my brother has always said that, and we did this, and I'm going to let you go, Joe, and I'll see you tomorrow on the podcast. But my brother always said to us, my other brother and I, my one brother has 3 kids, and we were told as an aunt and an uncle that they would prefer that we not give their children physical stuff, but we plan events with them, like we plan outings with them. So that's what they wanted us to do. They said make memories with them, because stuff that you buy is going to eventually be thrown away.
And that's a bigger quality.
And that's what we did. That's what we did. And I think it was so smart. And we respected what they wanted. And if we ever bought them something they wanted to know, they said not too much. We took them to like American Girl, but we gave them each a dollar amount that you had. Here's your money, and you can spend it, but only this much. This is all you're getting. And, I always got my brother and his wife's approval before I did any of that. Joe, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to hear your voice, and I'll see you tomorrow on the podcast. Oh, he's gone. All right, he's gone. All right, well, I'll see you tomorrow night on the podcast. Maybe I'll see you there as well. We got some more calls coming up. Wow, I didn't realize I had other things planned, but sure, let's take some more calls. But I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick break here, right? And then I can go back to calls.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
I'm going to go with that's right.
Yeah.
Since I didn't hear anything back. And we'll take a quick break, and then we're back with Sal. Don't go anywhere, callers. I will get back to you ASAP on the Dom Giordano Show.
Empty nesters, seniors, are you thinking about selling your home in the next 12 to 18 months? Then I have one question. What are you doing right now? Nothing? That's exactly why I, Diane Cardano from Cardano Realtors, have created the Future Home Seller Movement. Smart home sellers don't start preparing when they're ready to sell. They start a year ahead. Start decluttering, do some painting, make low-cost repairs that generate a high return. And right now, while your lawn is green and the trees are beautiful, get professional exterior photos. Because do you really want snow and naked trees advertising one of your largest assets? Of course not. Your home sale needs a plan, and your plan should start now. Get my free home seller guide and find out what you should be doing 12 to 18 months before selling. Diane says, don't wait until you're ready to sell to get ready to sell. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
Our head of accounting here at Fanatics Casino has filed another complaint about how rewarding we are.
Let's have a complaint this month.
And I quote, I feel it's my duty to bring to your attention the amount of winning that's going on with our fan cash spin scheme. I implore you to hold back on the rewards. For instance,
We should reward you. Stickers. Free basket or something.
at Fanatics Casino, the house always rewards.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. No purchase necessary. Void or
Here are 4 things your doctor probably doesn't know about losing weight. 1. Almacet actively burns fat and boosts your metabolism. 2. Almacet naturally boosts your body's own GLP-1 levels. 3. Almacet targets and unclogs liver fat. Almacet powerfully improves your overall long-term health. Almacet is the only natural superfood protein that delivers complete nutrition, protein, energy, and longevity in a single meal. Struggling with weight, Almacet works. Go to almacet.com right now. That's almacet.com.
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McMacken.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have with Crash Group covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Group since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-723-9728 or visit crashgroupretirement.com.
Hey, Burrow. Today's smart speaker deployed. 1210 WPHD.
All right. Coming up next, Mike
come on.
is with you. So because Mike's coming up next, we're just going to run late just because we can. And it's fine. All right, why not, right? Sure, we'll let him sit there. He doesn't care. Do we get paid for his hours when we do that? Well, you guys do anyway.
I'll put it on time. Yeah,
100%, yeah. Look, we're so taking your gig. I love Mike. Okay, Sal from Malvern, you've been hanging on. Thank you for joining me here on the Don Giordano Show. Sal, how are you?
I'm fine. My pleasure. I want to let you know you're doing a great job filling in. Probably even better. Maybe you get down the salary.
Yeah, socialism.
I wanted to make the point. A year or two ago, it dawned on me, and I actually wrote something about this, that I classify people in a couple of different ways, and it's not left or right or anything like that. But there's people that are informed, people that are not informed, there's people that are informed and still very nefarious. And I wrote this to the 40s and on, so you can apply to the 30s sucker. But it's what, Lenin, which was Marx's star student, said a long time ago, is that, give me your children for 2 years, and I will plant the seed that will never get rooted. And there are so many young people that I have seen there that are just foolishly go around mimicking and blurting out things. They have no idea what they're saying. They're genuinely tools, which is a huge insult to them. Tools of the far left or the communists or whatever nefarious people want to say. They're unknowingly doing the bidding of these very bad people. I have less respect for them than the people that intentionally sell out. And I just wish that message can get out to more young people that they're being used.
Do you think that they're so willing to just swallow this stuff and just mimic it back because it's easy? That's what they see on social media, right? Like, that's social media. They just see this stuff, and that's why you have like 10,000 TikTok challenges.
Well, you know what? I think it's a combination of easy, and yes, they are lazy. They haven't learned, to work hard. With a couple of calls back that said they hadn't seen a whole lot of controversy. They don't know how to sweat. They don't know maybe that the intense responsibility, and when I think of responsibility, that if you do not do it, something bad's going to happen or something, or you're going to fail, and somebody was counting on you. So it's a combination, I think, of easy and just I think they genuinely believe they're right, and some of them work hard at being wrong, even though they think they're being right. So it's not just that it's easy, but sure, the world of social media has really screwed their heads up.
There's so much, and I will tell you, I can see how it's easy to start scrolling. I am not on TikTok. I refuse. And I'm not on Instagram because for me to get on Instagram, I need people. Okay. So, and I don't make enough money with this lucrative job to be able to pay people to be on all these social medias for me. But I will tell you, there are times when I'm on X a lot, so I'll go through X and I'll tag, I want to watch this later. I want to watch this later. Next thing you know, I go through watching all these things, then you watch one and it takes you something else. Next thing I look up, I'm like, oh my gosh, 45 minutes just flew by. So I get involved in that scrolling thing. And I have to be super careful to not do that. So imagine a kid who is exposed to this stuff, and it takes them from, if the algorithm figures out what you're watching, and then it just feeds you more and more and more and more of it, it becomes almost a self-fulfilling prophecy that they become useful idiots.
Well, absolutely, and it's counted on. And I need to say, because their brains aren't fully developed, they're soft. a lot of parents, you know, are not parenting the way they should, with the right attention and the right, and role models, be it parents or look at the media. And I look at the media. Take any TV, do what? Male and female pick each race, right? Do you think there's a positive role model for each of those people? And I can't say there's many. I mean, it's not like a 16, TV or like, I know, a sports personality who always did the right thing. You just have one horrible example of a role model after another. Very few out there that are encouraging and responsible to teach young people how to behave.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. And the ones who are responsible are usually the ones that are made fun of because they are religious or they do the right thing. They're not cool anymore. And so those things become not cool. So, Sal, thank you so much for the great conversation. I appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day. And don't forget, everybody, tomorrow morning, 7:05, you can join me on Wake Up America on Newsmax TV. I'll be doing that tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow evening is my podcast, live 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Gary Walter Radio on YouTube, Getter, and Rumble. Just follow all the cool kids from the chat here right on over tomorrow evening at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Okay, guys, can we do a cheesy crossover with Michael Pelka?
Oh,
Can we do that?
let's see. I don't know where he's at.
He says he's here.
Well,
He said, he also said that Stalker will pay me no matter what. I thought we were going to get his pay. But he said he's here if we need to do a cheesy radio crossover. Well, while they're figuring that out, I just want to let you guys know that 3 U.S. postal workers just got indicted for a $23 million fraud check scheme. They stole mail that was supposed to be delivered, and then they sold it to the person who was orchestrating it all. And these are the people who are handling our mail. So just remember that. He's there? Hello, Helga. Hi, honey.
Hello. Hiya, Toots. How you doing?
No, honey doll. Older gentleman, he was like my grandfather, and
Well, at least they don't say sweet cheeks. I'd be an HR.
Well, that's true. All right, we got 15 seconds. What do you got coming up?
Oh, we're going to go over all the crazy legal news with prosecutor Wendy Patrick, and then Christine is joining us, Christine Flowers. Ripping it at 5 o'clock with her today.
Two of my faves. So you give her a big hug from me. Tell her I said hello. And everybody stick around because this guy, Michael Pelka, is next. I'm out of here. See you Thursday. Bye.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company or building your furniture, it came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions. What are these? Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get in data. They deliver exactly what's best for their policyholders. No labels or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by Private Insurance Company and subsidiaries.
I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Princess movie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating and create a Google price just for you by bundling your home auto with the State Farm personal price plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability of medical discounts and savings and eligibility vary by state.
Hi, this is Don here. Danny, you've spent years taking care of everyone else. Now it's your turn. Whether you've been thinking about replacing missing teeth, improving your smile, or restoring the ability to eat and smile comfortably, Dr. Robert Banks and Dr. Emily Bennett, board-certified prosthetist, specialize in complex restorative and cosmetic dentistry. You can smile confidently in photos, enjoy meals, laugh freely, and feel yourself again. Schedule a consultation with Bent's Dental, 610-272-6949.
Empty nester seniors. Does this sound familiar? You live in your house 20, 30, maybe 50 years. The kids are gone, and the house is too big. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, we should really move. And then you look around, the basement, the garage, the closets, 30 years of stuff, and your kid's stuff who moved out years ago is also there. And suddenly you think, where would I even start? Start with me, Diane Cordano Realtors. Nobody cares what your house looks like right now. I've seen it all. You're a future home seller, and you don't need to tackle everything tomorrow. You need a timeline that tells you what to do and when to do it. Your home is one of your largest financial assets. Stop sitting around worrying about the move and start planning it. Get my free Future Home Seller Guide. Let's get things.
We understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McMacken.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been with them since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com. At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McMacken.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for.
Hi, Max the Bald Eagle from Marathon here. We asked people if they could do an impression of me. Have a listen.
You can save up to $1 a gallon with the Marathon Rewards app.
That last one was pretty good. Marathon, where fun runs on full. Available at participating Marathon locations. Terms and conditions apply. See marathonrewards.com for details.
If there's one thing you can count on, it's 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressives. And if there's two things you can count on, it's your smoke detector battery dying at 3 a.m. Not 3 p.m. on a Saturday when you had nothing going on, but in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep. Come on! Get 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Just one more thing you can count on. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurance not available in all states or situations.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win. Like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later.
Sound familiar, Dale?
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply. In Apple.
The 2026 Lincoln Aviator SUV turns a robust list of features into a world of premium experiences. Excite your drive with impressive horsepower and torque. Customize your comfort with available perfect position seats featuring 30 configurations. Make room for 2 more passengers with powerful third-row seats that can fold flat at the touch of a button. And immerse yourself in the finest expression of design and services with available elevated packages. Experience it for yourself. Visit your local Lincoln retailer.
A BetterHelp ad. One of the hardest parts about starting therapy, not knowing what to expect. Instead of listening to an ad, hear from the people who've actually been there. Visit betterhelp.com/reviews to explore real client reviews that are updated every day. With an average live therapy session rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on more than 1.7 million client session reviews. The feedback speaks for itself. Visit betterhelp.com/let's begin.
Weather sponsored by City Winery.
A pleasant evening and forest. Overnight will get down to around 64. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 80. Rain expected. Wednesday, high 85, mostly sunny. And Thursday, high 82. But that day we can see a couple of thunderstorms.
Wind down this summer at City Winery. Wine on tap, live music, and seasonal dishes all paired for the perfect night out in Philadelphia. Visit citywinery.com for concert and comedy calendar, reservations, and more information.
Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
This was the first year that I was able to be a sports dad. The only time I lost my ever-loving sugar honey iced tea, while other kids were swimming a bath, loosening up, wrapping up little long across the tube. I walked over and I attention to the game. I'm telling you, these phones, total disaster. And I'm guilty. I should have put my foot down years ago. I can't put the genie back in the bottle. It is what it is at this point. For the future of other dads out there that still have time, put the foot down.
Start your day with King and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210 WPD and the free Odyssey app.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a warm place. I want to be a football stadium. I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest tree. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I will be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how. If I want to be recycled, want to by keeping America beautiful and welcome.
Philadelphia's Automotive Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands in 25 locations. Always live. On the free Odyssey app. Free speech news here. News here. The WPAC Afternoon Show.
Stunt brain, that is.
And just like that, it's 3:08 on a Monday, kicking off a package, as they say in the entertainment biz. Just about a 2-week package of me hosting for Talk Radio 1210 WPHD. I am so thrilled, so honored, so happy to be back with you. I'll be here in this time slot Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday is a bye day. Thursday's a travel day, and then I'm in for Dom on Friday. But next week, the entire week, I'm here 3 to 6. So it is 9 show days in a 10-day period, which is great for me, and I hope it's great for you. And I thank you for being here. And I remind you to like and subscribe in the YouTube channel. I have not even dialed into the YouTube channel. I was so verschmecked dealing with Mary Walter before the show. I didn't get signed into the YouTube chat, so I will be there shortly. DeSantis and Justin, if anything pops in the YouTube chat, you must bring it to my attention. We have planned for you today a 2 pounds of show in a 1 pound bag. I think that's the best way to put it. And I mean that in positive terms. A lot of times people say 2 pounds of in a 1 pound bag. Not in this case. This is 2 pounds of gold in a 1 pound sack. We're going to try and keep it all together. And my hat has to go off to Matt DeSantis because early this morning, like I think it was before 6 o'clock this morning, DeSantis, when you were sawing logs somewhere, I sent you a list of clips, a whole bunch of clips, in addition to the ones that you had already found. And you got them all lined up for today, so thank you. And Matt DeSantis found a clip that I have not seen featuring Hunter Biden being interviewed by this guy, Luke Beasley. Now, DeSantis, tell me, is this Beasley cat, is he a big influencer in the podcasting world? Is Matt with us?
I'll be honest, I had never heard of Luke Beasley prior to this interview, but I thought it was pretty funny.
I thought it was a joke at first, but I think this is real. And when you look at Hunter Biden's face, we'll get to it. I just want to tease it. This was a little bit of the best gold of the day that you found for me. So thank you. I was just singing your praises. Then I thought you were sleeping somewhere.
No, I was here. This may come as a shock to you and our audience, but we're having a tech issue with the board. But it seems to be working.
Are you working out of Nick's studio? Because I think he brings food in there.
No, but something weird's going on in Nick's studio. He's not there, but the on-air light is on. So I have no idea what's going on there.
Don't say anything when you're in there. Because something happened this morning. Gail was let's just say he was perturbed that he has to show up for work. He's under contract. He's in the middle of the second contract, doing very well economically. And I know this because when you can pay $4,000 for golf clubs, and golf is not how you make your living, you're doing well. But he's in there browsing about the fact, I have to wear a game to go to, I have to be in a studio. I'm not going to come in now. Stalker's out of town. She's all brave. I'm not coming in for the next 14 weeks. Some Bravo Sierra. So I wouldn't be surprised if he left a pot open in there. He's recording it home. So don't say anything untoward when you walk in there.
That's just, I love Nick Tail.
That's it. That's all you. So you walk in there and go, God, this is Nick Cale's studio. You could almost feel his presence in here. This is, maybe if I touch the board, maybe if I touch the soundboard, I'll pick up some great Nick Cale energy if I do that. Like you could just reach out, like I would go there, I touch the soundboard looking for inspiration. There's no better word than stupid. See, it's in there. It's got to have the magic is there. Sorry. Anyway, I thought that was funny with Nick was browsing today about having to come to work. You have a job, you have a great gig, you have all the support in the world, and you're kvetching about having to show up for work. What's wrong with you, Nick Cale? If I'm wrong, tell me. 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210 on any of the stuff. Big weekend. I was just talking to Justin. He had a good weekend with his better half, hanging out, enjoying a full day. I was explaining I got a little golf in this weekend, just a little, some of it good, some of it bad. And in talking about that, Justin asked me, where is the Pope hat? And many of you asked, where is the Pope hat? It's in my car with my golf clubs. So top of next hour, I will break out the Pope hat to send us if you think it's appropriate.
I think it's very appropriate. I think we need that.
I don't know if I'll be allowed to broadcast with the Pope hat on, especially with Christine Flowers joining us at 5 o'clock. The great Christine Flowers joining us at 5 o'clock to talk about some, I think these are very important issues. They're issues that tie faith and freedom and lifestyle and Philadelphia together. And so we will get to it. That's 5 p.m. She's going to be here. And at 3:30, we're going to talk about the big law issues, the big legal issues with our friend, attorney, prosecutor, and media personality, Wendy Patrick. She will be back with us today talking about the Lindsay Clancy case, talking about the Supreme Court allowing Donald Trump to build the ballroom, which it turns out this may be more funky than ballroom. And the Inquirer has a very interesting article on that very fact. We'll dig into that, as well as there's one other legal story I want to talk about with Wendy. We'll get into it. But we have just a ton of things that are happening. And as I said, the weekend was amazing. Yesterday's Freedom 250, I watched it, but it's kind of hard to watch race car driving like that for me, because it's kind of boring unless it's the last 10 laps. I'm just saying, I know a lot of you are like, how dare you miss the subtle nuances of fuel management and what happens if there's a yellow caution. Yeah, I watched it. I thought it was really cool. It was beautiful that the nation's capital was on display like that, and that an American driver won the race, got to meet the president. All the drivers got to meet the president. That was very cool, and they were very respectful. And I kind of love that. The estimates were that 100,000 people showed up to see this race. It truly was a remarkable accomplishment. I do think the greatest accomplishment, and always the most stunning, is the flyover during the national anthem. That flyover, which featured the fighter jets, but the B-2 bomber, the stealth bomber that leads them all, I got shivers up and down my spine when that was happening. It's just a remarkable flyover, and I always wonder how they timed that first. Did you see that flyover?
I did. It was pretty impressive. The whole thing was pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, and we were wondering. My wife goes, "Well, wait a minute. Didn't they do the UFC fight at the White House about a month ago or so? Maybe 8 weeks ago. I forget how long ago it was. June. And they had security concerns, right? Because it was on the White House lawn, and there were plots to try and go in there and get the president and kill the president. And she's saying, these people are driving all around D.C. They're circling the area. So how did they keep that whole thing safe? I don't know. I can't tell. But they did. And the Beast, the presidential limo, took a few laps on the track too, which was kind of cool to see. And all of the
This doesn't fit right.
I don't think this clip is on your list, Matt. Is it where the race announcers?
It doesn't want to fit
the
right.
bulletproof nature of the presidential limousine.
I don't have that. I can grab it real quick.
Well, if you got it, yeah, I'm looking for the clip that also makes note of the fact that one of the announcers, I believe, is a Brazilian gentleman, and he talks about the fact that the majority of the cars in Brazil are bulletproof. Everyday cars. Like if you had a car in Brazil, you would have it bulletproof. If that's the clip if that's the clip you have, see if you can fly that. That would be a great one. So we'll get into that. But I thought that was cool. And the amount of attention paid to the First Lady on the Fox broadcast, because she was allowed to talk about her program, Fostering the Future. And Melania Trump is, I think, a very consequential First Lady, even though the media does not give her an ounce of credit for what she does. Melania Trump talking about this program, Fostering the Future, which sets up college scholarships for foster kids to give them a chance, to give them an opportunity to go to college or a trade school. It's a phenomenal program, and it's not getting any love. The same way the president's Trump accounts aren't getting any love. Now, do I wish the president didn't put his name on everything, like the Trump accounts and Trump Pharmacy and all that stuff? Yeah, because I think immediately the Democrats are going to take those names off. Just call them USA accounts or whatever it is. But Foster the Future, another great program from the First Lady, and she was talking about it and got a lot of attention yesterday. Just a brilliant thing. So Freedom 250, big win.
Come on.
Big win for IndyCar racing, and not lost on me was the story of the team behind Kyle Kirkwood is the Mario Andretti team. The story of an immigrant came to this country legally, built a career and a life in the world of race car driving, and the legend of race car driving has now built one of the most successful companies in race car driving, and hires this American kid who wins this great race. That was a beautiful American story. So I thought that was just all around aces. And then we had a great finish yesterday in the Phillies game. The finish of the Cards, the sweep of the series of the Cards, going into the ninth inning, looking like we were dead in the water. And then we were down 4 runs, come up with 6, and boom, gotcha. Walk-off homer. Beautiful thing. So it was a pretty darn good weekend, I think, for Philadelphia and for these here United States of America. I'm happy about that. We also had the news happen just over an hour ago when Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent gave the D-Day announcement, the economic D-Day announcement for Iran. And I keep checking to see if there's any breaking news on it. It looks like the markets are keen on what was said by the White House, and the administration has decided we're pretty much done with the bombing of the Iranians because we've blown up everything we can blow up or want to blow up without blowing up civilians and civilian infrastructure. And so now it's time to bring economic pressure to bear. And yes, I realize that the 28th of this month, which is just a few short days away, will be the 6-month anniversary of this war. So we had hoped to be over in 6 weeks, and then we hope to be over in a few months, and then we hope to be over by Memorial Day, and now we're hoping it's over by Labor Day. Well, the president is beginning Operation Economic Outcast to make the country of Iran an economic pariah and shut off the pipeline of money going to that country. And Scott Bessent, who I think is maybe second to Marco Rubio as the president's best pick on his cabinet, he's a close second or third, if you break it down. I think Rubio's the superstar. And then you kind of got J.D. Vance and Bessent in there. A lot of people are saying Pete Hegseth, hey, he's good. He's top 5. He's not in my top 3. But Bessent, it's just a home run. And Scott Bessent took to the mic today to deliver. I got a couple of clips. Just roll the first one, please.
Iran now faces a very clear choice with only 2 paths before them. Complete global isolation, and persistent economy, back to normalcy, an opportunity to rebuild the global economy. Today, we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime.
Number 1, Operation Economic Outcast. He said economic. The guy said tomato. And then he delivered a little more bad news to the Iranians here.
Treasury has begun Operation Economic Outcast, an unprecedented campaign against the Islamic Republic of Iran and its enablers. In the Second World War, D-Day marked the historic beginning of a campaign with our allies to target and drive the enemy from its positions, including those in third countries. Today, in that same spirit, we are launching an economic onslaught against Iran's financial connections around the globe.
So if you're doing business with Iran, you got a phone call from somebody in Treasury or maybe somebody from inside the White House. And if you're the president of a country that's doing business with Iran, you likely got a call from maybe Donald Trump himself or maybe the vice president saying, you're no longer doing business with the Iranians, and if you are, we are going to cut off what you're dealing with the American dollar. Now, the dollar is still the world reserve currency, meaning our dollar is still the strongest currency in the world, that the rest of the world wants to trade in US dollars. And so if you suddenly realize you're going to have to trade in the Chinese yuan, that's not exactly stable. Or if you're going to try and trade in rubles, not exactly stable. There's no other country with the economic strength behind its currency like the United States. So I think this is a good idea. I just wish it had come about, 5 months earlier. After maybe the first or second wave of bombing to Iran, I think then we should have cut them off. But maybe somebody thought they were going to capitulate. Now, is this working? There are indications that the Iranian leadership is already raising their hands going, can we have a conversation here? Please? Maybe. We will see. But the Iranian people are also reportedly beginning to feel the squeeze on the streets all over the country. 70-some million people feeling the economic squeeze as inflation is in. I think the last thing I saw was over 300%. So imagine your dollar being hit by 300% inflation, something that cost $1 last week, cost $300, cost $3 today. Would you be able to afford your life? No, I wouldn't. And that may be the route to getting the Iranians to capitulate. I'm hoping so. DeSantis just sent me this. This is great. There was a quote. Somebody said that the Iranian leadership is more afraid of Scott Bessent than Pete Hegseth. Yeah, well, they survived Hegseth. Hegseth and President Trump threw everything we had militarily at the Iranians, and they're still able to kind of stop things or send up drones. And this will squeeze their ability to buy more drone technology. This will change many equations. It will also cut off the funding for their friends, the Houthis and Hamas. They won't be able to fund terrorism in other parts of the world and the parts of the region. So I'm hopeful this is going to be a good thing. Very hopeful. What else do we have going on? As I said, we have maybe the funniest clip I've seen relating to Hunter Biden and the push to get Hunter Biden front and center and kind of rebuild his reputation. I don't know why it's being done. I don't think America's dumb enough to elect him to anything, even recorded deeds or wills, as we do here in Delaware. There's actually a gate of people running for it. We'll get to that. There is, in the aftermath of the Enes Kanter freedom story, and just a side note to all my broadcasting friends, back me up on this, DeSantis. It's Enes Kanter freedom, not Enes Kanter freedom.
Yeah, I say Enes. I think that's
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying Enes. Sounds like penis. No, it's Enes Kanter freedom. The Enes Kanter freedom stunt that the WNBA game pulled last night. The WNBA had Enes Kanter freedom thrown out of the game. It brings a lot of attention to the drama, but not to the basketball. And then again, maybe that's the ultimate goal. But that story and the story of men and women's sports, I honestly think we have a better story. DeSantis, tell me we do not. The guy that ran against the girls, don't you think it's a better story than Enes Kanter freedom?
Yeah, that whole video was just astounding. They were really solid athletes as well. He won 100 meter races.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. And big legal news going on in the world with the story of the woman who has been charged with killing her 3 children, the heartbreaking story, that trial going on this week. What's really happening there? Wendy Patrick will join us to talk about that and the Supreme Court decision as it relates to the White House bunker or ballroom? Or can we make a word out of ballroom and bunker together? It's the ball bunker. No, that'll get us in trouble too. Forget it. Take that out in post, DeSantis. Don't let me say ball bunker. Sorry. Rolls off the tongue. It doesn't. Trump's ball bunker approved by the Supreme Court. Oh, 855-839-1210. It's Michael Pelka. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPH.
This is not a mistake.
Crash-proof competitor. We understand that out of all the paths to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McNacken.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets, sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for asset-based long-term care. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
And Doug. Limo and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limo and I wear are yellow. Yellow is the color of lemons. Lemons are the trees, and trees provide oxygen. Oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree with you. It's really quite simple. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Marty, shut up.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread building yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely big instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Empty nesters, seniors, are you thinking about selling your home in the next 12 to 18 months? Then I have one question. What are you doing right now? Nothing? That's exactly why I, Diane Cardano from Cardano Realtors, have created the future home seller movement. Smart home sellers don't start preparing when they're ready to sell. They start a year ahead. Start decluttering, do some painting, make low-cost repairs that generate a high return. And right now, while your lawn is green and the trees are beautiful, get professional exterior photos. Because do you really want snow and naked trees advertising one of your largest assets? Of course not. Your home sale needs a plan, and your plan should start now. Get my free home seller guide and find out what you should be doing 12 to 18 months before selling. Diane says, don't wait until you're ready to sell to get ready to sell. Call 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Dollar General.
Lockheed Martin is developing new technology aimed at stopping drones, which have become battlefield game changers in Ukraine and the Middle East. Lockheed demonstrated its NetSense airspace awareness system, which uses commercial 5G networks to detect drones while demonstrating the ability to knock the drone down by firing a rocket from a containerized launcher. Verizon and NVIDIA helped with the tech. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Constant application required. Online health questions required.
Our head of accounting here at Fanatics Casino has filed another complaint about how rewarded we are. And I quote, I think it's my duty to bring to your attention the amount of wins that's been on and cash spend scale. I inform
You should reward her.
At Fanatics Casino, that's all it's reward.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. No purchase necessary.
Belly fat, man boobs, yuck. Here's one simple thing you can do to transform your body. Take Almacet protein shake for breakfast. Almacet superfood protein shake will unclog fat from your liver and optimize your metabolism so you can lose weight and feel great. Almacet transforms your metabolic health and is scientifically proven to keep your muscle while you drop the weight and lose the man boobs. Reclaim your health. Visit almacet.com. That's ALMASED.com.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands in 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
It is good to be back in the saddle again. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Michael Pelka with you on this Monday, 3:34. Is it not the greatest day weather-wise than you've experienced in probably 3 months? I felt that way. I know with the traffic situation, because the bridge repair, you guys probably had to walk a little bit to get to the studio, Justin and DeSantis. But the weather cooperated. At least you got to be happy about that.
Oh, the weather's great. It's not humid. The sun's out. It's cool. There's a bit of a breeze. I can't complain.
No humidity. That's the most important part.
Just a wonderful day. If you can, get outside. Thank you for taking us with you on the Odyssey app or check us out on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, smash the like, smash the subscribe button and be there. I said there's so much going on in the world today. I had to need some help from people that are much smarter than I am in many different worlds. So I put up the bat signal with the illegal bat signal. And I got a immediate response from our friend Wendy Patrick, who you've seen a lot on Fox late night and a lot on news these days. My friend has great experience as a prosecutor. She also is an author, writes incredible stuff on society and psychology today, online stuff. And she joins me wherever I am so I can pick her brain to try and understand what the heck is going on in the legal world. Wendy's with us today. Wendy, I'm glad you're here because you're still, are you a San Diego girl or did you move more to LA?
Moved more to LA, Mike, so life in the big city just like you.
Okay, well, I just wondered because I was going to put out the warning. San Diego is hosting the Pokemon conference this weekend. And so I'll tell you, 50,000 Pokemon are descending on San Diego. So just avoid San Diego. Ooh, not a place I would love to be. Comic-Con is interesting. Pokemon World Competition. I don't even know what they're competing about because I never think they were real. But what do I know? Wendy, thank you for being here, as I said. I do want to pick your brain on a couple of things. The first is the story out of Texas, the tragic story of the teenagers who got into it at a track event, and one of them ended up stabbing another. That young man died, and the one who stabbed him was put on trial, convicted. His name is weird to me because it's the same name as a former NBA player, Carmelo Anthony. So every time I hear reports on it, my neck goes, wait a minute, Carmelo Anthony did what? But this young man now facing a huge chunk of time. And there was a request for a new trial, and there was news on that. What's your take on the decision not to allow another trial?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mike. It's one of my wrong because when you look at post-conviction litigation, they normally fall into different kinds of motions. The direct appeal is the one you hear about most often. In other words, the defense is saying, something went wrong during the trial. The judge was biased. That was actually one of the issues here was judicial recusal. But they have a litany of complaints they can make that would be grounds for appeal. This is a little bit different. When you're asking for a new trial, it's an entirely different kind of motion, but you do both. I'm a 30-year prosecutor, but I began my career as a criminal defense attorney, so I'm well aware of, you try everything. You try everything that has a reasonable, legitimate legal basis in fact that happened at the trial court level. But I also have to say it wasn't a surprise that the judge denied the retrial request for Carmelo Anthony. That doesn't necessarily mean down the road there's not going to be issues brought up on appeal that might have a different result. But this is not a surprise. You have to have an enormous amount of persuasive evidence and argument to win a new trial as opposed to an appeal.
And the judge was also taken off this entire legal proceeding.
When you're asking for a different result when there's been a conviction, it's a lot harder. There has to be a lot more persuasive evidence that would have resulted in a different jury verdict, for example, or so infected the process that we would argue that somebody didn't get a full trial. So it's a much higher burden to prove that there.
This is not exactly right in the front, but the front air dam area, there's really not enough room
This is one of the reasons that this case has been in the news as frequently as it has.
for what I need to do, so it's not going to be exactly right.
It sparked a lot of attention, and there are racial components that people are making, and folks are saying the jury was biased, and it's just impossible to make everybody happy in every situation.
So,
the other trial
comes in after this.
Media attention is the heartbreaking story of the death of the 3 children, which appears to have happened at the hands of Lindsay, what's her name?
Lindsay Clancy, yeah.
Yeah, this one, I know they stopped Friday in the middle of things and sent the jury home, and now it looks like they're proceeding apace. And is this going to wrap up in a week? Can they do all of this in 1 week, Wendy?
I think they're going to wrap.
Where did I miss something here?
You know, you talk about obviously the prosecution still not a follow case.
Maybe that's what I did. Is I missed something? Shit, I did miss something. No wonder it's not working. Oh, stupid me. Oh, stupid me. I goofed. That's why it's not working.
On social media, she asked for help. She never got it. But that's not the defense. And it's not a defense to murder. The defense here, by the way, is the defense that I have encountered in prosecuting.
No, I missed it.
Postpartum psychosis. It is the kind of defense where what the defense would need to show is Ms. Clancy has
I missed it. That's what I did wrong. That's why it's not fitting right.
of a psychotic break that
All that work.
is able to tell right from wrong, incapable of controlling her conscious thoughts, high burden to prove. You would need to have other evidence.
Okay. I want to do this again.
But you don't. I mean, this is the prosecution's case. You have her researching how long it would take to send her husband on an errand to go get takeout from a restaurant, then run a pharmacy errand, far enough away to where she would have the amount of time with unsupervised access to her 3 children to strangle all 3 of them, something she'd researched before. In other words, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that sort of belies this defense of total psychotic break, didn't know right from wrong, didn't know what she was doing. So the heartbreaking aspect of it may also lead to a conviction because the jurors aren't allowed to acquit her because they're heartbroken over the fact that she didn't get the treatment she was begging for. Nobody disputes that. By the way, nobody disputes that she killed her 3 kids either. That's not her defense. It's that she did it in this psychotic break. That is very hard to prove. And that's one of the reasons why, Mike, in answering your question, I don't know if they're going to be able to finish closing arguments this week, given the complexity of the defense and then, of course, the prosecution rebutting that.
This is so fascinating to me. And I really, initially, I thought, why are all the news networks giving this so much time? And then you saw the reaction, as you mentioned, the women who showed up in support of her.
There we go. Oh, God. Jesus me.
And you realize, okay, there are a lot of women who must have felt something in terms of postpartum depression after they gave birth, but is it enough to justify what this woman did? And then you explained to me the story that was presented by the prosecution, that there had to be a level of premeditation here for her to look up where to send her husband on an errand in order to give her sufficient time to perform what ultimately was this horrific act against 3 innocent souls that are no longer with us. So
Exactly. That's exactly right. They're calling that the takeout strategy. Remember that he was buying takeout dinner and then going to the pharmacy. And more than that, Mike, the rest of her day was normal. They talked about the other things she did during the day. So after the fact, you have, her own physician saying, she never said she heard voices. She was never psychotic. A defense doctor who didn't know that.
There we go. Oh,
did have it.
I am so sorry. That was my fault. I totally missed a piece. Pieces that should have gone on. And that's what caused the big delay.
So the prosecution is just going full speed ahead. And by the way, Mike, you mentioned the other women talking about their own experience with postpartum psychosis. Not admissible. The jurors are not allowed to hear that, much less consider. Only allowed to consider what goes on in that courtroom and what comes out from that witness stand. So they got paid a lot more than they do. They have a very challenging job ahead of them in the deliberation room.
Wow. You mentioned the takeout defense or the takeout strategy. Many times we've heard insanity defense. We've heard the Twinkie defense. If you want to go way back to, I think it was the 80s when somebody said, the Twinkie. Will there be, Wendy Patrick, a rise in the use of the postpartum defense? Do you think there's a Psychology Today article in your future for this?
I've written about things like this before because I had a case where it was this exact event, postpartum psychosis. Many women are familiar with postpartum depression, but psychosis, a psychotic break with reality is not something that happens in an enormous amount of cases. It's actually very rare. It's even more rare to have somebody in the throes of that kind of a condition kill their kids. People keep talking about Andrea Yates. You remember the woman that killed the 5 kids effective. But this is a little bit different from that. But the similarity might be something jurors are going to really have to make sure that they don't put too much weight on, because those facts are not Lindsay Clancy's facts. So it is just the enormity of their task is complicated by so many women saying, hey, I too had postpartum depression. Those women didn't strangle all 3 of their kids after having sent their husband out of the house that would give her enough time to do it. It's even hard to talk about this. It's so heartbreaking because I also feel for Lindsay Clancy, like anybody does, that looked at how many witnesses took the stand and said she was having thoughts of harming her children. You cannot be moved by that testimony. But it's also not a legal defense to the charges.
It's such an important case.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah.
And and then you see the photos of those 3 little angels that are now with us.
Exactly.
It's one to watch, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again in the future. It's maybe even next week, because I'll be back again next week, and we'll do a breakdown if we can. Let me get to a big one that also broke on the side of the president over the weekend. The Supreme Court sent a note to the president saying, hey, while we're hearing the arguments for you to not build the ballroom at the White House, you can continue construction. Now, Wendy Patrick, I'm sitting here looking at this going, first of all, I'm okay with the ballroom. Just want to go on record saying I agree with what the president's trying to do. But I know that if I broke ground on a new building on my property here in my neighborhood, and one of my neighbors said, hey, he's 10 feet over the line in terms of where he can do this, they would send a building inspector in, and he would tell me, no, you
Used
can't
all the
do it.
stickers.
Stop it till we legislate it.
Any pieces left over?
And put it up in court. It's really unusual to me.
That's it.
This allowing of the construction to continue, isn't that going to create a problem if in fact the case goes the other way, or is this an indication that the case is going in the way of the president?
Probably the latter, but I have to say, I'm just delighted. What a refreshing break in my life to talk about a story where nobody's dead. Nobody killed anybody. We're talking about construction of a big, beautiful ballroom. But I think you made a Freudian slip earlier when you said both legislation and litigation, because I would say that's spot on. Litigation needs the legislation. And part of the complaint is that the president
Here we go.
through the
Both cars.
correctly. He didn't go to court. He sort of did what he traditionally does. He decided to move forward because, remember his argument, all of the matter they would never have been an assassination attempt at the first stab at the correspondence.
All right. That's it for now. Thank you for everybody that stopped in to say hello. I appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a good day. And I got another set I want to do tomorrow afternoon too. So I'll be live tomorrow afternoon. All right. I'm not quite sure about the time yet, but stop in. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a good one.
If there was an indication that he's going to have to stop the progress.